subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Is also very interested in Ash's Scyther. So at the invitation of the director, Ash and the other three came to this ninja academy. Let me say here that although Miss Aya is personally brought up by the director, her strength is still not enough. At Venonat's current level, she is still not as good as Ariados. The group followed the director and Aya to this 440 yard. After entering the yard, we saw many trainers with their Pokémon. Xiao Gang couldn't help but sigh. There are so many Pokémon. Misty was a little uncomfortable. If for no other reason, there are a lot of bug Pokémon here. In our Pokémon Ninja Academy, there are many trainers who work hard day and night to learn various Pokémon ninjutsu. The headmaster introduced Ash and the others. Indeed, many skills of Pokémon have a bit of ninjutsu style, such as Pinico, which Xiao Gang captured, has a move called Spikes, but has not yet mastered it. And the most direct Ash's Scyther's double team is the Shadow Clone technique. But the most representative one is the Greninja of Kalos region, which is a copy of Ninja, especially after the Bond evolution with Ash. Water Shuriken and Kunai Cut both borrowed ninja elements in it. And for it, Ash is also determined to get it. Miss Aya, I've decided. I want to be your apprentice. Needless to say, this must be the nonsense that Xiao Gang said in a fit of excitement in order to get closer to Miss Aya. When it comes to pursuing a young lady, Ash only has a thumbs up to Xiao Gang because words cannot describe it. Coincidentally, Xiao Gang's words also reminded Aya, so he said to Ash, "Ash, do you want to experience the school for a day? I think you will definitely gain something, right, Principal?" The principal originally wanted to watch Ash's battle again, and when he heard Aya say this, the principal immediately nodded in agreement. Then, Ash and the other three changed into the ninja uniforms specially worn by the academy, which looked a bit like ninja. The blue ninja uniform Misty wore was very suitable for her, because it could outline her figure, which made Ash stunned for a while. Unexpectedly, Misty still had some material. As for Ash and Xiao Gang, one was red and the other was yellow. According to the introduction, the red uniforms mainly teach the battle subject of Pokémon. The yellow uniforms mainly teach the technical subject of Pokémon's special move level improvement, and the blue uniforms mainly learn the beauty subject of beauty and weight loss. Then the three of them separated. I don't know why, but when I saw Misty's back, I felt like mourning for her. Then, Ash's premonition came true. Although it was a beauty course, it was beauty with the silk thread of the ball of thread, which was undoubtedly a huge blow to Misty, and the result was that she was entangled by the silk thread. However, if she saw the water sliding training about Starmie, she would probably be interested. Xiao Zhang's side was relatively smooth. His partner was Pinico, and they practiced the use of special moves, letting Pokémon use special moves to break the air balloon on the ground. Xiao Zhang's Pinico also mastered the Spike's special move, breaking all the air balloons. Xiao Zhang's Pinico once again self-destructed for Celebrate. Ash's side must have been a practical practice. Ash, I've been looking forward to fighting you again since the last duel. I think so too, Ms. Aya. I will fight with all my strength this time. Aya sent out Venonat, and Ash naturally used Scyther, but Ash took something out of his pocket. Ms. Aya, I said I would fight you with all my strength again. This is my strength. Then, he handed the metal film to Scyther, and Scyther touched the light of evolution flashed. Scyther's figure became taller, and his double swords turned into huge pliers. His whole body was covered with metallic luster, forming armor, and the original green turned red. The red flash, Scyther appeared. Cha! Scyther looked at his new body, and his eyes exuded a terrifying intimidation. Okay, the battle can begin. Venonat, use Poison Barb. Scyther Bullet Punch. Scyther's pincer swung quickly to block all Poison Barb. Scyther, use Quick Attack. Seeing Scyther rushing over, Aya ordered, Venonat, avoid and use Stun Spore. Scyther, jump up and use Air Slash. After Venonat dodged the first attack, it released Stun Spore, but at this time Scyther was already in the air, and a series of wind blades hit Venonat, and was directly hit. In the battle now. In the end, Venonat still lost the ability to fight. I still lost to you, Ash. Aya took back Venonat and shook hands with Ash. Thank you, Miss Aya performed very well too. Ash, I didn't expect your Sizer to perform so well. Can I help you train him? Don't worry, I will return him before the Silver Conference. After seeing Sizer's performance, the headmaster felt that Sizer's potential was unlimited, so he made this request. Originally, Ash didn't want to agree, but when he heard him say that he would return it before the Silver Conference, he agreed. Okay, I look forward to Sizer's transformation in the future. In 5.2, Ash left Sizer here, which is similar to training Charizard in Charizard Valley. Sizer will become stronger here. As for Misty, she ran out directly after a beauty class. Later, after seeing Starmie's training, she let her Starmie train and learn the skill of water sliding. After a day of rest, Ash and his friends said goodbye to Miss Aya and the headmaster and continued to go to Yuzu City. The Rocket team is lost now, to be continued. Maybe this plot is similar to other novels, but I declare that I just borrowed it by chance, not maliciously plagiarizing. I hope you don't think too much. The first general of the steel type, Sizer, is here. If there are those who didn't vote for Sydney, Sizer's pliers will not hold back. Chapter 74. Yangi Yangma successfully conquered. Please subscribe. I say, Ralts, you're a bit too harsh. Rallo. The story is like this. Ash and his group continued to move towards the direction of Yuji City. On the way, they met a Pokémon that looked like a dragonfly. This Pokémon must be naughty by nature and likes to play pranks. It directly flew away Ash's hat and Ralts, who was resting on it. Ash found that his hat was missing and hurriedly chased it, shouting for it to stop, but no matter how Ash shouted, it was useless. As a result, Ralts, who was lying on the hat, was awakened. When he saw that he was not on Ash's head, but was captured, he immediately got angry. First, he activated Confusion to make Yangi Yangma unable to move, and then used Psychic to make Yangi Yangma fly around uncontrollably, and kept making it crash into trees on the way. It was also a kind of torture for it. Finally, Yangi Yangma couldn't stand the torture and fell directly to the ground, and Ralts took this opportunity to return to Ash with the hat. After Ash rushed over, he saw this scene and couldn't help but smile bitterly. Then, there was the scene at the beginning. Yang Yang Ma, Thin Wing Pokemon ability, Acceleration, Perception, Hidden Qualification, Light Purple Learn Moves, Quick Attack, Double Team, Uproar, Wing Attack, Sonic Boom, Supersonic, Screech. Can learn moves, Hidden Power, Aerial Ace, Steel Wing, Ancient Power, Pursuit, Detect, U-Turn Evaluation. It is a Pokemon with only a trainer, but because of its naughty nature, it caused a lot of trouble, so it was forced to be released. Because it comprehended Sonic Boom, so its qualification has been broken. After reading its information, Ash has already remembered this part of the plot. This Yang Yang Ma is a Pokemon of a boy named Hiroshi. Because it is too lively, it has always caused great trouble to the nearby residents. The most direct thing is that the windows of every house are shattered. So, everyone hoped that he would release Yangi Yangma. Although his family made glass, they couldn't stand such a torment. However, he had a deep relationship with Yangi Yangma and was reluctant to let it go. But in the end, he followed the public's opinion and released Yangi Yangma. Not long after, Hiroshi came over and wanted to subdue Yangi Yangma, but he couldn't do it. In the end, he put it back in the Pokeball with the help of Ash. Thank you so much. I'm Hiroshi. I'm so sorry that my Yangi Yangma has caused you trouble. Hiroshi kept apologizing. It's okay. Is this Yangi Yangma your Pokemon? Ash asked. Then, Hiroshi took them into the town where his home was. Seeing the scene here, Ash understood why so many residents hated Yangi Yangma. The vibration of its wings would shatter the glass, and Hiroshi would also be affected. He would twist after being called a naughty child. In desperation, Hiroshi went through many psychological struggles before deciding to release Yangi Yangma. Are you also reluctant to let go of Yangi Yangma? Ash asked. Hiroshi nodded. When you become Yangi Yangma's trainer, you must be prepared to train and educate it. Ask yourself, are you really ready? Hiroshi nodded and shook his head after hearing this. Don't rush to answer. Don't release Yangi Yangma first. Think about it carefully after you go back. Then, tell me the answer when you have thought it through, okay? After seeing Hiroshi leave, Xiaojing asked, Ash, you also want to subdue that Yangi Yangma, right? I admit that I like it very much, but I can't just steal it away like this. Ash shook his head. Then, as usual, they came to the Pokemon Center. To be honest, the Pokemon Center is the only place in this town with intact glass. However, it didn't take long before he found that many people came to Hiroshi. The reason was that two strange people came to help them install the glass that was shattered by the Yangi-Yangma, but it turned out that these glasses were ice cubes and melted not long after. Later, no one knew who said that Hiroshi did not release the Yangi-Yangma at all. Then, some residents began to look for him. After seeing this, Ash immediately helped everyone out, and at the same time, he also exposed the identity of the Rocket Team trio. Needless to say, the next scene, Ash used Bayleaf to knock the Rocket Team away. And Hiroshi, after experiencing what happened just now, began to become gloomy in his heart. He looked at Ash, and Ash also understood what he meant, so he took him to the 10 Plains. It seems that you have thought it through? Well, with my current strength, I can't convince my father and the people in the town to cultivate the Yangi-Yangma. I don't want to really abandon it, so Ash, please help me take care of it. After saying that, he gritted his teeth and handed over Yang-Ma's Pokemon Ball. Ash took it, touched his head, and said, I promise you, I will make it play to its strengths. Then, I'll leave it to you. After saying that, he ran back. Ash could clearly see a tear slipping from the corner of his eye. This is too much of a blow to him, Misty said sympathetically. Although it's a bit heartless, this is undoubtedly the best way to deal with it, isn't it? If Yang-Ma continues to stay by his side, it will not be a good thing for him, his family, and the residents of the town. In other words, Hiroshi's current ability cannot stimulate Yang-Ma's potential, but will only delay it. There is only pain for Yang-Ma here. Ash said word by word. Misty and Xiao Gang sighed and had nothing to say. Ash looked at Yang-Ma's Pokemon Ball and murmured, Give me more advice in the future, Yang-Ma. To be continued. Yangi-Yangma is here to report with wings flapping. If anyone still doesn't support it, be careful of the glass in your house. Chapter 75. Grass Pokemon Battle, Oddish Evolution. One more chapter, please subscribe. Ash, did you teleport Oddish here? Misty said, looking at Oddish at Ash's feet. Well, I haven't had time to train it properly since I captured it last time, so I thought I could train it properly. Ash looked at Oddish, who was playing well with Bayleaf, and couldn't help saying. The main reason was that he had been practicing with Bulbasaur in the backyard of Professor Oak's laboratory before, and it was almost time for it to evolve. Didn't you see how lively it is now? This time, Ash wanted to let his Pokemon evolve when it should, so that he could learn more moves and formulate more tactics based on the diversity of moves. Okay, after crossing the mountains in front, we will slide to Yuanju City. Xiaojing said to them while looking at the map. Is it finally not far away? Ash said with great anticipation. Hey look, there are a lot of Pokemon ahead. Misty said, pointing to the front not far away. Indeed, looking around, there are many Pokemon, including Sunflora, Gloom, Vileplume, Bellossom, Paras, Bellsprout, Weepinbell, and other Pokemon. Wow, there are so many grass-type Pokemon. Oddish and Bayleaf beside him were also very happy, and they couldn't wait to play with them. It's Oddish and Bayleaf. Great, you actually have two grass-type Pokemon. At this time, not far behind them, a little boy with a Skiploom said in surprise. Hello, my name is Xiaoshi. After the boy introduced himself politely, he continued. Excuse me, are you going to the city of Yuju to challenge the gym? Hello, my name is Ash. This is my companion, Xiaojing and Misty. This is Pikachu, and the one above my head is Ralts. Ash also introduced himself. Yes, we are indeed going to Yuju City to challenge the gym. Can you have a duel with my Skiploom? If it's a duel, I won't refuse. Oddish, you take this battle. Ash didn't send Bayleaf, but let his Oddish feel the difference between actual combat and practice. Skiploom, use Impact. Skiploom's Impact was very fast, but Oddish dodged it lightly. Ash shook his head. Xiaoshi, normally, the ultimate move of Impact is used as a sure kill. If you use it at the beginning, there is a high probability that your Pokemon will fall into a disadvantageous stage. Oddish, use Razor Leaf. Skiploom, Double Team avoids. It must be said that Xiaoshi's reaction was also very fast. As soon as the order was issued, Skiploom took action, and Razor Leaf hit only a clone. Oddish, let's use Double Team too. Soon, Oddish's double team had the same number of clones as Skiploom, and the two sides were also confronting each other. Clones are not supposed to be in battle. Oddish used Bullet Seed. All the Oddish spit out Bullet Seed together, hitting Skiploom directly, so that the real body was also hit, and the embarrassment body disappeared. Skiploom used Leech Seed quickly. Too late. Sludge Bomb ends the battle. Oddish flings Sludge to Skiploom, and at the same time falls into the poison contest condition. "How is your Skiploom?" Ash asked with concern. "No problem. Your Oddish is really amazing." At the same time, he was also glad that he didn't choose that bay leaf. Otherwise, he would have been defeated in 2 moves. At this moment, Oddish jumped up and down, emitting dazzling white light all over his body. Then appeared a flower and leaf on his head, eyes closed, and nectar like saliva flowed out of the purple corners of his mouth. It was the evolution of Oddish Gloom. Gloom Weed Pokemon ability, Chlorophyll qualification, Deep and Blue learned moves. Razor Leaf, Mega Drain, Bullet Seed, Sludge Bomb, Sweet Scent, Acid, Poison Powder, Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, Petal Dance, Impact learnable moves, Sun Blaze, Protect, Giga Drain, Seed Bomb, Energy Ball evaluation. Oddish's evolution. It emits a strong odor, but it does not emit a odor when it is in a good mood. The honey at the corner of its mouth will stick to it once it is touched. It is good at dealing with water Pokemon. Because of the different evolution methods, it has 2 forms, Vileplume and Bellossom. It depends on how the trainer chooses. After seeing Gloom's introduction, Ash also said happily, "Please give me more advice in the future, Gloom." Stinky. Gloom also said, "The friendship between Pokemon trainers is only formed after the battle." After the battle, Xiaosher warmly invited them to his home. After meeting Xiaosher's parents, they also started to talk. "I see." Xiaosher and his Skiploom also worked hard. Xiaosher's father said, "I have tried my best to fight, but Ash Sr. is more powerful. He defeated me with just Oddish, and he evolved into a flower. Thank you. Such an excellent trainer like Ash is willing to accompany Xiaosher to practice, which is a valuable lesson for him." No, Xiaosher will definitely become an excellent trainer in the future. Ash did not forget to praise him, which made Xiaosher a little embarrassed. "Rest well at my house tonight. Thank you so much. Who would be willing to sleep outdoors if they can stay overnight?" Ash was also very grateful for this. "The flowers here are so beautiful." In the yard, Misty couldn't help but admire after seeing so many beautiful flowers. "We planted these with the Grass-type Pokemon. Grass-type Pokemon can be said to understand the feelings of these flowers and plants the best," said Xiaosher's mother. "Grass-type Pokemon are also very powerful in battles." Xiaosher added, "Delicious. This child has always wanted to participate in the Grass-type Pokemon Championship." Xiaosher's mother said, "Grass-type Pokemon Championship?" Later, I heard from them that this so-called Grass-type Pokemon Championship is about the same scale as the Bug-catching Conference and the Fishing Conference, and there will be generous prizes for winning the championship. Ash knew the prize very well, that is the Leaf Stone. It just so happens that his Gloom can evolve into Vileplume through this. With such a competition, how can Ash not sign up? So, Ash also participated in this Grass-type Pokemon Championship. I don't know how Ash will perform in the Grass-type Pokemon Championship, so please look forward to the next chapter. To be continued, I didn't expect that I would update another chapter. PEC who hasn't subscribed, Gloom, I will first send some poisonous gas to those who haven't subscribed. I'm leaving first. Chapter 76, Grass-type Pokemon Championship, updated early. Please subscribe. The next day, the weather was particularly sunny, which was very suitable for Pokemon trainers to fight. Especially, this was a battle between Grass-type Pokemon. Dear audience, I've kept you waiting for a long time. The regular Grass-type Pokemon in this town is finally about to start. The host said the opening words enthusiastically, making everyone excited. In the waiting area, Ash saw many Pokemon trainers and many Pokemon, including Victreebel, Parasect, Tangela, and many other Grass-type Pokemon. Moreover, from the mental outlook, it was also quite good. Wait a minute. It seems that a Pokemon who doesn't fit in with the group was found. Ash saw a Sunflora dressed strangely, although it looked like, but the sewn patches and claws on the hands made him recognize that it was Meowth from Team Rocket at a glance. As for the trainer, it was Jesse in disguise. Ash also noticed James' words, but he was participating with his Victory Bell, a normal grass-type Pokémon, so if he didn't join the trouble this time, Ash wouldn't expose him. After all, compared to Meowth pretending to be Sunflora, James wasn't cheating this time. Ash, it's almost your turn. The staff said to him. 8/17" we should go, Bayleaf. That's right. Ash is using Bayleaf to participate in this competition this time. Because the day before, Xiaoshu came to find him and said that he hoped he could fight with all his strength, and he would not regret it even if he lost. So, Ash sent Bayleaf, the strongest in his team, this time, and he had learned a lot of tricks before, and it was time to test the results. After Ash greeted, he came to the battle site. The next contestant is Ash, who signed up temporarily this time. It is said that Ash also got good results in the Indigo Plateau Conference. I wonder what kind of exciting battle he will bring us this time. Although I don't know how I learned that I participated in the Indigo Plateau Conference, I became noticeable after introducing myself like this. The first round of Rivals' name is unknown, and his Pokémon is Gloom. Go, Gloom, Flower Dance, Bayleaf. Use Poison Powder. When the petals came to it, the purple poison powder also went to Gloom, and Gloom's face was obviously a little bad. Take advantage of this moment. Use the Energy Ball. As the laurel leaf opened its mouth, an energy ball hit Gloom, and after the explosion, Gloom lost the ability to fight directly. Too strong. Just 2 moves and won the first game. Because it happened too quickly, the commentator was also stunned, but the quality of the commentary still allowed him to tell the final result of the game. For a while, everyone was full of expectations for whether Ash could win the championship. The next battle is between Xiaoshu and his Skiploom, and the mysterious trainer who signed up for this time, Mr. K and his Victory Bell. This battle was James's legitimate participation, so Ash did not expose him. But James' performance really surprised him. Because at the beginning, James's Victory Bell used Vine Whip and Razor Leaf to force Skiploom to follow its rhythm. In the end, Xiaoshu used his Skiploom's weight advantage and double team to defeat Victory Bell. Okay, the next game is Ash's second game. His rival is the mysterious beauty contestant Miss M, who made a brilliant appearance. Sure enough, Ash looked at Jesse, who was already dressed up, and Meowth dressed as Sunflora. Since you want to play, I will play with you. Go ahead, Meowno, Sunflora, use Tickling Attack. Bayleaf, Energy Ball. Before Meowth could get close, Bayleaf's Energy Ball hit him directly, completely destroying his disguise. What is going on? The commentators said puzzledly, since you asked sincerely, we will be merciful and tell you, in order to prevent the world from being destroyed, in order to protect world peace. Stop, Team Rocket, can you change your lines next time? You are not tired of saying the same lines all the time, but we are tired of it. Ash quickly interrupted their opening remarks. Hey, little brat, it is very rude to interrupt others. We took the Leaf Stone here. The Rocket Trio had to show their true colors and headed for the tournament prize Leaf Stone. Don't even think about it, Bayleaf. Leaf Storm. Bayleaf used Leaf Storm to knock the Rocket Trio out. What a disgusting feeling. This is the only sentence that I never get tired of hearing. Otherwise, I always feel that something is missing. Ash smiled as he looked in the direction where they were knocked away. In the subsequent matches, Ash's Bayleaf defeated his rival within 3 moves every time and entered the finals smoothly. On the other hand, after Xiaoshu's Skiploom had a hard fight with Victory Bell, he seemed much more relaxed when he met rival again and entered the finals. I didn't expect our second match to come so soon. Ash said, I will definitely work hard this time and won't lose to you again. Xiaoshu said firmly. Skiploom, use Double Team. Bayleaf, use Leaf Storm on a large scale. Facing the siege of Skiploom Double Team, Bayleaf used Leaf Storm directly on the spot and hit those shadows, and his real body was also knocked away. Take advantage of the victory and use Energy Ball. An Energy Ball was shot at Skiploom, who had just landed, and Skiploom fell to the ground again. Skiploom, don't lose. You and I have been working hard until now, and we will never give up until the last moment. Looking at Skiploom, who was beaten without any ability to fight back, Xiaoshu kept calling it to stand up. The wounded Skiploom did not give up and slowly stood up, and at the same time, the flower on his head began to emit a bright light. Oh, have you realized the sunshine flame? Bayleaf, We will also use the Sunshine Flame. The two Sunshine Flames collided in the middle of the field. The only difference was that Bayleaf's firing speed was faster. Skiploom lost his ability to fight, and Bayleaf won. And the winner this time was Ash from Pallet Town. Ash won the championship this time, and the prize was a trophy and 30 leaf stones. Recalling the care that Xiaosher's family had given him and his companions yesterday, he gave 5 leaf stones to Xiaosher. Xiaosher was also very happy. After encouraging him, Xiaoji and his group said goodbye to Xiaosher's family and continued to head towards their destination, Yuanzhou City. To be continued soon, the exciting gym battle will begin, and Ash's 4th badge is on the way. If you're looking forward to it, please subscribe together. By the way, the movie version of Mutewo, I'm Here is placed after the gym challenge. Do you have any objections? Chapter 77 Yuanzhou City, Burn Tower, Morty, please subscribe again. After going through so much hardship, we finally arrived at Yuzu City. Look, Yuzu City is ahead. Xiaojing pointed to the city ahead and said, "It's so big." Because they were looking down, they could see at a glance that Yuzu City was very large, and Misty couldn't help but sigh. Xiaojing looked at the introduction book in his hand, then pointed to a tall tower and said, "That's the representative bell tower of Yuzu City, and Yuzu Gym is nearby." When I heard about the gym challenge, I started to get excited. Ash said excitedly, "Okay, let's go to the Pokémon Center first, and then go to the gym." Go to the Pokémon Center? What are you going to do? Misty asked. Of course, I exchanged the owl. Last time in Nausicaa, after Owl mastered Brave Bird, Ash sent it back. It was exchanged with Scyther that time. I may not have time to write it, please forgive me, to let it practice with Pidgeot. Now, to challenge the Yuju Gym, Ash has already thought of what lineup to use. In addition to the normal type owl, 2 psychic type Ralts and Alcatraz are enough. Because the gym trainer Morty of Yuju Gym is a ghost type trainer, and his 3 Pokemon are all Ghastly type, namely Ghastly Haunter and Jengar. Ash and his friends went to the Pokemon Center first, teleported the owl, and then went to the gym. Hello, I am Plaska, who can eruption. Suddenly, a flame sprayed towards them. Ash and the others quickly hid. Then a fat uncle in a clown costume came out with a torch in his hand. Is this your first time here? How did you know? I saw you reading while walking, and I knew it was your first time here. Please, uncle. Talk is talk, but don't use eruption. It's very dangerous. Misty couldn't help but say, "Guests, since you have come to this city, you should buy this." Then, the uncle began to promote his treasure hunting machine, but Ash was not interested in it at all, and it didn't look like a real thing at first glance. Misty followed closely behind. When she saw Xiaojing asking about the little sister again, Misty grabbed his ear and carried him away. "We are here. This is Yuanzhou Dojo." Seeing this courtyard, Misty wondered, "This is different from the gyms I went to before." Actually, this is not the Yuju gym. Ash walked into the courtyard and saw a burnt tower. This is the burnt tower. Burnt tower? Yes, 700 years ago, Yuju City built 2 towers, one on the east and one on the west. The one on the east is the bell tower, and the one on the west is here. Moreover, this place was originally called the bell tower. The tower on the east is used to wake up Pokémon, while the tower on the west puts Pokémon to sleep. Ho lives on the top of the bell tower on the east. However, 150 years ago, a thunder shock hit the tower on the west side, and the tower instantly turned into a sea of fire. The fire burned for 3 days and 3 nights. Finally, a heavy rain put out the flames, but at this time, there was not much left of the tower. 3 unknown Pokémon were burned to death in the fire, and Ho-Oh fell from the sky and resurrected them. That is the current 3 sacred beasts, Raikou, Suicune, and NTI. Ash said this legend. Great. I didn't expect there is such a story. This is just a legend. There is actually another version. The 3 forms that Eevee first discovered were Thunder Pokemon, Water Pokemon, and Fire Pokemon, and they have the same attribute as the 3 sacred beasts in the legend. In addition, the geisha who guarded Ho-Oh and Lugia in Yuju City used the evolved form of Eevee. So it is speculated that the legendary dominant beasts were the 3 evolved forms of Eevee before they were resurrected. You actually know this? Xiaojing was also surprised. It's just a guess. There is no conclusive evidence to prove that this is true. Just listen to it for fun. Ash waved his hand and said, "But at least this is a ruin. It's not bad to visit it." So, Ash walked in first, and after Misty Xiaojing saw it, he had to follow in. After entering, Xiaojing touched the marks on it and said, "It seems that these marks are real and have been there for a long time." The group walked to the underground floor. Suddenly, a raging fire broke out all around, surrounding them. "Ah! Why is it on fire suddenly?" Misty shouted in panic. "Don't be afraid. These flames are not real." Ash knew that it was not real, so he walked closer and touched it carefully. "Could it be? It's decided to be you." "Owl, use foresight. Ash for flowers." After a red light of foresight, these flames disappeared and were replaced by several Ghastly. Needless to say, these must be caused by Ghastly's hypnosis. "So many Ghastly," Misty said in surprise. "There is also a haunter there." Xiaojing pointed to a haunter and said, "It seems that we have intruded into their territory." Ash guessed, "What should we do then? We are just here to visit, so why don't we just leave?" But before he turned around, a Jengar appeared. "I didn't mean to disturb your rest. Please let us go." Ash explained. "Stop it." At this time, a voice came from the top of the stairs, and Ghastly, Wei Qingtong, and Gung all gathered at the stairs. A young man came down from the stairs. Ghastly likes darkness. Just now, they mistakenly thought you were here to trample on their residence, so they used hypnosis. Please forgive me. After saying that, he waved his hand, and except for Jengar who stayed with him, the rest dispersed. "We are also very sorry, Mr. Morty," the gym leader of the Yuju gym. After hearing Ash's identity, he couldn't help but ask, "How do you know my name?" "Just now, you made the Ghastly stop their actions with just one sentence, which means that these Ghastlies all have trainers. From what you said just now, you must be very familiar with the Ghastly faction. So, I boldly guess that you are the gym leader. Your mind is relatively clear. Yes, I am Morty of the Yuju gym. This is not a gym. Please follow me." The group followed Morty to the Yuju gym. At that time, he was telling some students about the knowledge of Ghastly Pokémon, but after hearing the report, he rushed to your Ash. "Let them see the gym challenge, okay?" "Of course, no problem, and I specially prepared something for you for this challenge." "Oh, prepared for me? Then I'm looking forward to it." The game is about to begin. To be continued, Ash's fourth gym battle is about to begin, and it will also be the debut of the future Super Queen, so please look forward to it. Chapter 78, Ash vs. Matsuba, a showdown between the psychic and ghost types. Subscribe. Now, let's start the gym competition using 3 Pokémon. During the battle, only the challenger can exchange Pokémon. The game is declared over when all 3 Pokémon of one side lose their combat ability. The challenger will attack first, and the game begins. According to the rules, the gym trainer Morty must take out the Pokémon first. "Go ahead, Ghastly." "Is Ghastly the first one?" Ash thought after seeing it. "Then it's decided to be you, Noctowl." Misty and Xiaojing both found it a little incredible that the owl was taken out at the beginning. Logically, Noctowl has the Foresight skill, which can show the figure of the invisible Pokémon. Shouldn't it be put at the end? But what they don't know is that Ash's current strength is no longer the same as before, and it is no longer the strength in the original book. "Don't worry, I still have 2 hidden tricks that I haven't used yet," Ash said confidently. "Owl, use Foresight." 707 Ghastly, get out of the way. Noctowl's eyes emitted red light, but Ghastly disappeared on the spot, obviously not showing up just now. "Even if you are invisible, you can't escape from this place." Ash said, "Noctowl, use Foresight due to the range." Ghastly, use Lick. Although Ghastly's figure was shown, Ghastly's long tongue also came towards the owl. Once hit by this move, it is likely to fall into the paralysis contest condition. After getting out of the way, use Confusion. Noctowl spread its wings and successfully avoided Ghastly's tongue. At the same time, its V-shaped eyebrows emitted blue light, which directly hit Ghastly without standing effect. Take advantage of this moment and use Brave Attack. Finally, Noctowl exuded blue flames all over its body and rushed towards Ghastly. The huge power made Ghastly fall to the ground and lose the ability to fight. Ghastly loses the ability to fight, and the owl wins. "Come back, Ghastly. Come back, Noctowl." Both sides took back their Pokémon at the same time. Hey, did Ash push Noctowl back? It should be that the Brave Bird just now also had a small rebound damage to Noctowl, so Ash took it back for insurance. Thank you, Ghastly. You did a great job. Morty looked at Ash. You are really good. You can use the limitations of the venue to force Ghastly to reveal his figure. But what will you do with this one? Go Haunter. As the evolution of Ghastly, Haunter's biggest feature is that its body and hands can be separated, which can not only make more physical moves, but also become weird and unpredictable. Of course I will be prepared, and I decided to choose you, Ralts. As soon as the voice fell, Ralts, who was staying on Ash's head, jumped and came to the competition venue. Don't look at her as a little girl, but now she is fierce and fierce. She wants to prove that she can also become Ash's fighting force. Ralts, this is your first battle. Do well. Rallo. Oh, are you using the psychic type to fight my ghost type? Morty can see at a glance that this Ralts is a psychic type. Of course, I hope you won't be too surprised. At the beginning of the battle, Haunter became invisible again. Ralts used Calm Mind. Seeing Ralts standing still, Morty knew that she was improving her ability, so he didn't want to give her a chance. Haunter, use Hypnosis. Ralts, use Safeguard. Haunter's eyes glowed red in the dark, but Ralts pushed his hands up, and a magical protective shield appeared around Ralts. Obviously, Ralts was not affected. It blocked it? Haunter, Confuse Ray. Ralts used Fantasy Ray on Confuse Ray. Confuse Ray and Fantasy Ray hit each other. Although Ralts was a little confused, he recovered quickly after the improvement of Calm Mind, while Haunter was not so fast. Ralts used Flash. Ralts flashed white light, illuminating the entire place. Haunter quickly closed his eyes, but accidentally exposed himself. Now use Shadow Ball. Ralts condensed a Shadow Ball with his hands and threw it at Haunter. Haunter was hit directly and lost his ability to fight. Haunter lost his ability to fight. Ralts won. Well done, Ralts. Ralts! Then, after Ralts shouted happily, a white light flashed on his body, and his petite figure became taller. His body was still white, but the horns on his head became two, his green legs grew out, and his hair became shoulder-length bangs. Congratulations, Curlia. Curlia! Ash, I didn't expect you to defeat me with a psychic type. I really had to fight you with all my strength. Morty took back Haunter and said, You guessed the next Pokémon. Go Gengar? It just so happens that I have a rival that is very suitable for it. It's decided to be you, Alakazam. Gengar versus Alakazam, the strongest duel between Ghost type and Psychic type in the original series. Fight with all your might. Gengar, use Shadow Ball. Alakazam, use Illusion Ray. The Shadow Ball and Illusion Ray collided, causing an explosion. After the smoke cleared, Gengar disappeared from the spot. Alakazam, use Calm Mind. Do you still want to use Calm Mind? Gengar, use Shadow Punch. Gengar used Shadow Punch directly from behind Alakazam, but it did hit, but it was a clone, and the real Alakazam continued Calm Mind on the other side. The only thing was that its brows were frowned. What? That move just now. That move is Substitute, which creates a clone by reducing a little blood volume, and the clone will help the real body to bear damage once. Ash explained, There's actually this trick. It's my turn, Alakazam. Use Psyshock. After 2 Calm Mind upgrades, Psyshock's power is much greater than at the beginning, so Gengar was caught off guard and was knocked away, and the effect was also outstanding. Gengar, stand up, use Night Curse. Alakazam, teleport dodge, and then use Future Sight. What? Future Sight. As a ghost trainer, of course he knows how terrible the damage of Future Sight is to Gengar. After Alakazam teleport dodged, a ray of light shone through his body and went into the void. This is the countdown from the punishment from the sky. Gengar, use the Night Curse again. Alakazam Psycho Cut. After the 2 big moves collided, the field was once again filled with smoke, and Alakazam and Gengar disappeared at the same time. Then there was a bang, and Gengar's Shadow Punch and Alakazam's Reflect collided. Alakazam, push it out. Alakazam moved his mind, and Gengar took several steps back, 5.4. At the same time, Future Sight's confusion descended on Gengar, making him lose his combat ability. Jengar loses his combat ability, and the land wins. The winner of this competition is Ash from Pallet Town. Great, Ash won. PK. After Morty took back Jengar, he said to Ash, Ash, this is the most enjoyable battle I have ever experienced. Your tactics and the abilities of the Pokémon themselves are enough to be recognized. This is the symbol of defeating me, the Fog Badge. Morty handed him the badge. Ash took it and said confidently, Okay, I got the Fog Badge. Pikachu, Churret, huh. To be continued, the 4th badge, successfully obtained. Next, another Pokemon is coming to report. Have you guessed it? I mentioned it before. Chapter 79, Gifts from the 5 EV Sisters, Part 1, Subscription Request. If you want to go to the next stop, I suggest you go to a Sagei City. It's close to the sea, and the scenery is pretty good. Thank you for your advice. After the gym battle, Ash and his friends did not leave Yuju City directly, because since they came to this big city, they had to purchase some supplies, which was also discussed before they came to Yuju City. The above conversation was Morty's suggestion to them. Close to the sea. Ash, let's go to a Sagei City next. As Misty specializes in water Pokemon, being close to the sea is the most in line with her wishes. As for where to go, Ash didn't have much opinion, so he nodded. Okay, our next stop is a Sagei City. But before I leave, I want to attend this tea party. By just when Misty was about to talk about the tea party, a growl suddenly attracted their attention. Looking back, it turned out to be an EV, and the fur color was even more bright and beautiful. The cute appearance instantly captured Misty's heart, so she hurried forward and hugged this little cutie in her arms. So cute. EV24, are you lost? Wow, this touch feels so comfortable. He rubbed it hard with his face. Ash was a little speechless watching from the side. You can touch it, but what's the point of rubbing an EV with a trainer? Although Stephanie has no resistance to this kind of cute Pokemon, you're a bit too much. But when he saw this EV, he seemed to remember that this should be the tea party plot of the 5 EV sisters. If so, I wonder if the other party has extra EV? If so, just while Ash was fantasizing, a little Stephanie with twin ponytails came in. It seemed that she should be the trainer of this EV. So this EV is yours. After saying that, Misty handed the EV back to her. Thank you, my EV has caused you trouble. No, your EV is very cute. It has always been disobedient. By the way, let me introduce myself. My name is Sakura. Your name is Sakura. It's the same name as my sister. My name is Misty. Then, the two girls began to chat enthusiastically, and Ash and Xiaojing could only be a leer on the side. I didn't expect that they could chat so quickly. Xiaojing sighed. Girls' friendship is easy to chat, and besides, they may really have common topics. Actually, Ash knew that the reason why Misty could chat with Sakura from the beginning, in addition to their names, was that their respective family statuses were the same. That is, they were all ranked in the ranks of the youngest sister. In addition, when the sisters introduced themselves together, they did not often bring themselves along, so they got along very well from the beginning. Asked Xiaojing, I just heard that her family was holding a tea party. Let's go and see it together. Misty suggested. Faced with this proposal, the two boys agreed unconditionally. After arriving at Sakura's house as the host, Sakura went home to change clothes first. When Sakura came out after changing into a kimono, she looked even more beautiful than the girl she had seen before. Wow, Sakura, you are so beautiful. Misty couldn't help but praise. Thank you. I'll go greet everyone. You Solation, please enjoy it. Sakura bowed to them slightly and left. Hello everyone, please enjoy tea time. As they walked, an adult woman in a light green kimono said to them, Wow, my heart is shot through by the god of love. Miss, you are hundreds of times more beautiful than the garden. No, you are more beautiful than everyone I have met before. After seeing this mature woman, Xiao Gang teleported and began the disgusting confession. After this episode, they continued to walk forward and suddenly found a woman in yellow clothes who was completing an illustration. It's done. This is the art of flower arrangement. Ah, my heart is shot through by the god of love again. Miss, you are hundreds of times more beautiful than the flowers in this vase. No, you are more beautiful than everyone I have met before. Here it comes again. Ash covered his forehead. It was simply unbearable to watch. As they continued to stroll, a beautiful piano sound suddenly rang out, and Misty was immediately attracted. What a beautiful piano sound! Following the sound of the piano, she found a woman in aqua blue clothes playing the piano there, with a very elegant posture, which was very ornamental at first glance. Ah, my heart has been shot through by the god of love again. Miss, you are hundreds of times more beautiful than this piano sound. No, you are more beautiful than everyone I have met before. Please, this is the third time. Are you going to fire a map cannon? Ash smiled bitterly and looked at him with a pig-like face, thinking in his heart, it is better to find a partner for Xiaojing as soon as possible. Maybe he will be more honest. This is the tea room. Let's go in. The group finally came to the tea room. Misty didn't care about Xiaojing's appearance, and Ash was looking forward to how Xiaojing would be embarrassed in a while. Welcome. A woman in dark blue clothes said to Ash and them. Please give me your guidance. Ash bowed to her out of politeness. Please don't be too nervous. Just try to relax. The woman said gently. Ah, my heart has been shot through by the god of love again. Miss, you are hundreds of times more beautiful than this tea set. No, you are more beautiful than everyone I have met before. For the fourth time, Misty finally couldn't bear it anymore and grabbed his ear and said, Your heart has been shot through 4 times. It is already full of holes. The elder sister of this tea house performed a tea ceremony with a very graceful figure. Ash could feel that this tea must be abnormal. The tea is ready. Please taste it. Ash slowly brought it up and took a sip. It was indeed bitter at first and sweet later, and it was extremely mellow. That taste is simply endless. As for Xiaojing, he drank it all in one gulp. After Ash saw it with his peripheral vision, he was also speechless. This is simply like Zhu Beiji eating ginseng fruit. He didn't know what it tasted like. My sister's tea is delicious. This part is divided into context. Everyone pay attention. Because in this episode, Xiaojing's performance alone occupies nearly half of the length. So leave one chapter for the second half. Chapter 80, Gifts from the 5 EV Sisters, Part 2. Please subscribe. Xiaojing really needs a partner. The reason for this is that when he entered tea time, he met 4 beautiful older sisters. As a result, Xiaojing was so excited that his heart was pierced by the god of love. This young lady was so beautiful. Ash felt that he should find a partner for him in the future, otherwise, he would be embarrassed. After finally reaching the main hall, Xiaojing felt a little more stable. Misty, is the tea my sister brews delicious? At this time, Sakura walked in and said, So she is your sister? Misty was surprised, but Ash had expected it. Instead, he glanced at Xiaojing to see how this big brother would react when the 4 sisters came together. I'm the eldest sister here. My name is Mickey. The woman opposite introduced herself. Not only me, but also other sisters. At this time, the other 3 women who had met before came in one after another. The woman in green clothes introduced. I am the second daughter. My name is Kuni. The yellow-dressed woman introduced. I am the third girl. My name is Zuki. The last one is the aqua blue-dressed woman who introduced. I am the 4th girl. My name is Naoko. Seeing these people, Ash's mouth curled up slightly, and he tried his best to hold back his smile. Xiaojing was about to cry behind him. So those beautiful sisters are sisters. Xiaojing was devastated. After seeing Xiaojing, Kuni said, I know you. You are praising me as the most beautiful person. Really? He seemed to say that to me just now. He said that to me too. He said that to me too. Puff! Upon hearing this, Ash couldn't hold back anymore and accidentally spit out the tea he just drank. But his face was facing the door, so he didn't stain it. Haha, sorry, I just thought of something funny, so I couldn't help it. If I'm rude, I'll apologize first. Ash just finished speaking and then covered his mouth and laughed secretly. Xiaojing, you really are? Misty said tiredly. Is it wrong to praise? Xiaojing squatted aside and drew circles and said, Then your way is easy to be misunderstood. If it were someone else, you would be beaten. We are the 4 EV sisters from the famous Zhu city. It's 5, the 5 EV sisters, okay? Sakura scolded from the side. It's 4 sisters and an additional one. This name sounds so familiar. By the way, the 3 sisters at the Cerulean Gym seemed to introduce Misty in the same way, saying that Misty was forced to bring her along. Ah, Before Xiao Gang could finish, Misty's fist full of rage hit him on the head, and a big bump instantly appeared. So you were also the youngest, just like me. Then Sakura and Misty went to chat aside. Ash had another idea. When I watched this episode, I was also familiar with the 5 EV sisters. However, can an ordinary family have 5 EVs at the same time? This is a bit too outrageous. So, Ash guessed that they were a family with a close relationship with Eevee. Before that, Ash released Houndour and Alakazam and called Pikachu, saying, "You 3, find the location of Team Rocket, teach them a lesson, and then drive them away." The 3 Pokémon nodded and left. "Miss Cooney, I have something to ask you." Oh, Cooney was not too disgusted with this polite Ash. "You can ask whatever questions you want. What is the relationship between your family and Eevee?" Cooney and the other 3 sisters were stunned and looked at each other randomly. Finally, Cooney said, "Although I can't tell you directly, I can say that our family must have a relationship with Eevee. As for what it is, you have to find it out by yourself." "Is that so?" Ash pondered. "By the way, when Sakura met us before, she mentioned that she wanted to travel with us. But her personality is a little too dependent on others, and you as her sisters will definitely not agree. So, can you please act out a scene with me later?" Ash told his plan. The 4 sisters nodded and said, "That's fine. We will try our best to cooperate with you. But you don't go too far. Don't worry, I know my limits. Just let Sakura know something." Soon, Pikachu and the others came back, and they successfully beat Team Rocket away, so there were no troublemakers. On the other hand, Misty also told Sakura about her idea, which was to be proposed after the dance tomorrow, and Ash pretended to agree. The next day, the 5 sisters also performed a dance. The only flaw was that Sakura made a little mistake, but it was harmless. After saying this idea, the 4 sisters followed Ash's plan and did not agree, and proposed to decide whether they agreed through a battle. The game was 3v3, and Ash and Misty won 1 game each. Just when Xiao Jiang was about to go out to fight, Sakura suddenly said, "Wait a minute, sisters, I decided not to travel. I understand that some things can't be accomplished by me alone, and even if you take care of me during the trip, I still have to rely on myself during the battle. Going with you will only hold you back, so I will go out to travel after I become stronger." "You finally understand, Sakura. Well, thank you, Misty, for fighting for me." "You're welcome," Misty said. "The problem has been solved, and we should continue our journey." "Please wait a moment," said the eldest sister Cooney, and then turned and went into the house. When she came out, she was holding an egg and said, "Thank you for helping us solve this problem. As a thank you, this egg is for you." Then she handed the egg to Ash and winked at him. After seeing this, Ash also understood. "Thank you. I will take good care of this egg. By the way, Sakura, your EV can evolve in the direction of the Sun Pokémon, so that you can be the real 5 EV sisters." "I will work hard, Ash, thank you." Then, Ash and the others continued to the next destination. To be continued, Chapter 81. Conquering Murkrow. Please subscribe. Ash, stop training and come over to eat. In the forest, Xiao Gang made lunch and called to Ash, who was training in the distance. "Okay, I got it," Ash responded. So far, after coming to the Johto region, Ash has captured Heracross, Chikorita, Cyndaquil, Totodile, Slowpoke, Owl, Oddish, Houndour, Ponyta, Scyther, Ralts, Alakazam, 3D Dragon, Yangiangma, plus the 30 unknown, counted as 1. A total of 16 Pokemon. Plus a Pokemon egg, because it has not hatched yet, so it is not counted for the time being. Among them, the 3 starter Pokemon have completed the first stage of evolution. Oddish has also evolved into Gloom, Scyther has evolved into Sizer, Ralts has evolved into Curlia, and Houndour is almost ready to evolve. Now Ash is with Pikachu, Bayleaf, Houndour, Noctowl, Curlia, and Yangiangma. Because Curlia can't stay on Ash's head, it takes up a place, and Ash teleported Kalava back. Just right, Professor Oak has 4 more Houndours, so they can train each other. After Ash brought them back, he started to enjoy the lunch made by Xiao Jiang. Xiao Jiang's food is delicious. Everyone enjoyed the lunch made by Xiao Jiang together. After Misty finished her soup, she said to Ash, "By the way, Ash, how many badges do you have now?" Well, Ash took out the badge box. So far, he has collected 4 badges. He only needs the Storm Badge of Cyanwood City, the Mineral Badge of the Scallion Gym, the Ice Badge of the Card Gym, and the Dragon Badge of the Blackthorn Gym. There are only 4 more badges to collect. Ash, you are becoming more and more wise now, and you are no longer the reckless boy, Xiaojing said. Ash smiled slightly. People always have to change. I also want to make some changes for my dream. At this moment, 3 birds flew in the sky. These 3 birds were all black, and their formation was very standard. Huh? What is this? Misty asked curiously. Ash checked and said, "This is Murkrow." Murkrow, dark Pokemon attribute. Evil, flying ability. Super lucky, mischievous heart. Activated, qualification. Dark purple, the one in the middle. Gradually darker blue. The other 2 learned moves. Peck, Astonish, Haze, Wing Attack, Taunt, Foul Play. Feint Attack learned moves. Dark Pulse, Assurance, Sucker Punch. Aerial Ace, Sky Attack. Bird Attack, Heat Wave. Icy Wind Evaluation. A Pokemon that is good at acting and likes shiny things. Once it finds someone chasing it, it will lead the opponent into the dark road to make the opponent lost. There is also a saying that if you see its figure in the dark, it means that something bad will happen. It turned out to be Murkrow. Ash immediately had the idea of conquering them. It happened that his evil attribute team could add a general. They don't look like they can play pranks. Pokemon. As soon as the 3 Murkrows came out, they performed a trio for them, and their movements were consistent, so Misty was confused. And they have good skills, Xiaojing also said. Ash smiled slightly and watched them perform quietly. Because they have high IQs, they are good at taking advantage of loopholes, so Ash had to be vigilant. Yummy. After the 3 Murkrows shouted, they suddenly came forward. One went to Xiaojing's spoon, and the other went to the badge box in Ash's hand. However, as soon as they approached, they felt that they were fixed by something. When they looked again, it turned out that Ash used confusion to fix the 2 dark crows. Disobedient children will be taught a lesson, Ash said to them. At this moment, Murkrow rushed towards Ash without moving and was directly hit by a thunderbolt from Pikachu. Because Pikachu has the bonus of electric beads, the power of Thunderbolt is much stronger than before. Murkrow was electrocuted into charcoal with just 1 shot. Little brat, did you catch Murkrow? Suddenly, the 3 members of Team Rocket rushed out, forcing Xiaogang, Misty, and the others to be on guard. Team Rocket, do they have a grudge against you? After their narration, Ash learned that James' most cherished limited edition bottle cap was stolen by them, and they couldn't catch up with him all the way, so they came here. Okay, I'll help you solve this matter. Let's stop fighting today, okay? Ash proposed a condition. Team Rocket nodded. So, led by the remaining 2 Murkrows, Ash and the others came to Murkrow's nest and successfully found James' bottle cap. However, Jessie and Meowth went back on their words and wanted to attack Ash's Pokemon, but were sent away by Pikachu with a thunder. As for the boss of the Murkrow, he was subdued by Ash with a Pokemon ball, and the remaining 2 Murkrows were also successfully subdued with Ash's soft and hard words. To be continued, this part is not so detailed. Anyway, Murkrow must be conquered, right? Chapter 82. A few things in Professor Oak's laboratory. Mutwo reappears. Please subscribe. I never thought that the legend of Remoraid is true. You don't have to be depressed, Misty. Aren't there plenty of good water-type Pokemon? This one is not a big deal. It turned out that when Ash and his friends were heading to a Sagei city, they passed through a large dry land of rocks and sand, and the group was seriously short of water. Then, they found a strange color on the Iron Cannon Mountain, and coincidentally, there was a Pokemon Center near the Iron Cannon Mountain. Now, they can finally replenish their water sources. According to Nurse Joy's introduction, they also learned that the ruins nearby were the former Remoraid civilization, and met an old man named Lu Gu. After a conversation, they also learned that he was looking for Lucas, which appeared once every 370 years. Ash took the initiative to help the old man find the location of the Lucas, and also saw Remoraid and Iron Cannon Pond, and happened to see many Remoraids constructing an ice pillar, and then under the sun, the rainbow-like Lucas that Ash and his friends had seen before appeared. This time, Grandpa Lugu also fulfilled his wish and got the answer he wanted. However, during this process, Misty also wanted to try to capture a Remoraid, But because Remoraid is very united, once the Pokemon ball is thrown at them, they will use suction cups to tie together tightly, so that the Pokemon ball cannot be located and it is not easy to capture. So, after replenishing the water source, Ash and his friends continued their journey to a Sagei city. On the way, there was the conversation at the beginning. Really, Ash? In fact, after seeing that Ash has captured so many Pokemon, Misty's heart is itching, and she also wants to capture a few water Pokemon to get one step closer to her dream. Hearing Misty say this, Ash also thought about whether he should help her capture 2 Pokemon, because Misty will definitely capture Corsola later and will encounter Chinch's parade. At most, he can help her pay attention. Anyway, as long as there is a good deviation from the original plot, he will also get a reward. On this day, they came to a place with a good environment. What appeared in front of them was a cliff, and if you looked at it, you couldn't see the edge at all. Wow, it's so beautiful. Here, Xiao Jiang said while looking through the travel guide. That mountain is the legendary Qingche Cliff. It's simply a miracle of nature. When Ash heard that this was Qingche Cliff, the special episode, Mutewo Reappears and Rise Again, that impressed him came to his mind. But now, it looks like this. Will this part of the plot start directly? However, since he came here, Ash decided to go to Qingche Cliff to see the Mutewo he had seen before, and he must have a good exchange with it if he has the chance, and enlighten it by the way. After all, according to the current situation, Mutewo may still be struggling with some of his own problems. As for God, it is probably arranged in this way. So Ash and his friends still saw the bus as in the original plot, but because the climate here is very unstable, it rained halfway through the run. The final result is that if you miss this bus, you will have to wait for a week if you wait for the next one. You'd better not go. The previous bus is full, and the climate here is very unstable. Strong winds may blow at any time. As a result, as the lady said, the bus was blown up by the strong wind, but with Mutewo, the bus quickly stabilized. Ash naturally felt it, but because Professor Oak had something urgent to find him at the B&B, Ash had to postpone going to Clear Cliff for the time being. Anyway, he was not in a hurry. Professor Oak, you were looking for me? Ash, where did you get that Ponyta? Oh, I got it at the Pokemon Exchange Conference. What's wrong, Professor? It's amazing. I found an attribute on Ponyta that I have never seen before. It should be said that it is the 18th attribute so far. Professor Oak said his discovery. Is that so? When I captured this Ponyta, I just captured it because its fur color was very novel, but I didn't expect to have such a big discovery. Don't worry, Ash. If this is true, you will definitely get the credit. By the way, what did you give Slowpoke when you teleported it? A King's Rock. Has it evolved into Slowking? Yes, last time you teleported Slowpoke and Shelder, Slowpoke fought with Wartortle and Croconaw for a few times. Later, it took out King's Rock and put it on its head. The Shelder bit its head and then evolved into Slowking. To be honest, I was shocked when I saw it for the first time. Professor, there are some things about Pokemon that we still need to discover. After all, there are still many things we haven't discovered waiting for us. You've really lectured me on that. Also, your Bulbasaur has evolved into Ivysaur at 4.5. Is that so? That's great. It must have been stimulated by its friends. Otherwise, it would be impossible to evolve based on its personality. Ash said with great understanding. In this case, the original partners Squirtle and Bulbasaur have completed the first stage of evolution, and the reserve combat power can be said to have been enhanced to a higher level. To be continued, this chapter is a transition. Although it is a bit watery, it can also reflect a lot of information, right? This is all to pave the way for future plots. Isn't it exciting? By the way, has anyone guessed the mysterious Mega Evolution Stone? Hint, it is related to a certain plot later. Chapter 83. Clear Cliff, Goodbye Mutewo, please subscribe. After a conversation with Professor Oak, Ash understood some things. First, the Ponyta he teleported has discovered an attribute that he has never seen before, and it is estimated that the fairy type should be announced soon. Secondly, his original partner Bulbasaur has also completed the first stage of evolution. In this way, Kanto's 3 starters have all completed the first stage of evolution except Charizard, which has finally evolved, and the Slowpoke he captured before has also evolved into Slowking, and his team has one more general. Moreover, for this trip to Clear Cliff, Ash asked Professor Oak to teleport Alakazam and Snorlax over, and Noctowl, Murkrow, and Yangyangma back. Because this trip to Clear Cliff, there may be a big change in the plot, and he doesn't know what will happen. So after contacting Professor Oak, he contacted Jiku again to teleport Charizard back, just in case 24. The Pokemon around Ash now are Pikachu, Charizard, Bayleaf, Alakazam, Kirlia, Houndour, and Snorlax. Because there is one more spot, Ash lets Kirlia sit on his other shoulder. Misty, I'm going to meet an old friend this time. You stay here, and I'll come back. Ash, are you really going to Clear Cliff? Misty asked worriedly. Well, don't worry, I'll be back soon. Then, you have to be careful. Ash, if you want to cross Clear Cliff, go downstream along the river below, cross the Clear River, and you will reach Clear Cliff. The lady at the B&B said. Ash nodded and went out. On the other side, Ash rode Charizard across the steep cliff and came to where he was going. Although the name of Qingche Cliff is a cliff, the interesting thing about this place is that it is not just a mountain, but a lake in the mountain, an island in the lake, and a spring in the island. The lake is called Qingche Lake, which is comfortable and has miraculous effects. Many people in the forests of the mountains are nourished by it. The spring on the island is called Qingche Spring. The lake is used as spring water, which has many miraculous effects, such as healing and calming emotions for Pokémon. Mutwo and its replica Pokémon live in seclusion here. Based on the memory of his predecessor, Ash also learned some things about Mutwo. When Mutwo was first created, it was led astray by Giovanni. Later, after breaking through Giovanni's confinement, it came to the new island where it was born. It rebuilt the laboratory and tricked Ash and other trainers to copy their Pokémon. Among them, Ash's Pikachu and Charizard. It is said that at that time, Ash's Charizard was beaten by his own copy and became a little brother, but now, it is not certain. At that time, his predecessor almost paid the price of his life to stop the meaningless fight between Mutwo and Mew. This time, I don't know what the scene will be like when I see Mutwo again. With this expectation, Ash came to the top of the clear lake. Pikachu! Pikachu called out, and Ash immediately felt a rush of electricity coming towards him. Charizard was disdainful and stretched out his claws to block it easily. Charizard is no longer the same as before. He can naturally sense the terrifying breath. At that time, it felt powerless to resist. If the opponent moved his mind, he would retreat. However, Ash was not nervous. He patted its neck and said, "It's okay, Lao Peng, you go back and rest first." After taking back Charizard, Ash saw the Pokémon that had just discharged them. It turned out to be a Pikachu, but compared with Ash's Pikachu, it was very alert. Ash walked slowly towards it. The replica Pikachu fired Thunderbolt at him, but Ash easily blocked it. Then he squatted down and said, "Don't worry, I won't hurt you." As he spoke, he took out Pokémon food from his pocket. This is food for electric Pokémon. It is sold very cheaply in the system mall. Sometimes, it is specially given to Pikachu. The replica Pikachu smelled it, picked up one, and ate it. After feeling that it was delicious, he grabbed the thing in Ash's hand and ate it in big mouthfuls. After seeing it, Ash smiled slightly, touched its head, and said, "Don't worry, there are more if you want to eat." "Pika Pika." Pikachu also said on the side. "Human, you are here." Mutwo came out of the cave on the island and looked at Ash and said. Seeing this, Ash also stood up and said, "Mutwo, since we last met, your contest condition has been getting better and better." The tone was like reminiscing about old friends who had not seen each other for a long time. "Yes, 880, you have changed a lot since we last met on the new island. I didn't expect that you actually awakened Psychic, and I can still feel that there is a special power between you and Pokémon. This is just some psychic that belongs to me," Ash said casually. That special power is the power of XY. Although the system said that this power can be advanced, it never explained the method. "Oh, by the way, you don't have to call me human all the time. I have my own name, Ash." Mutwo nodded. "Ash, is that your name?" Ash smiled and sat on the ground with the two Pikachus. After the food just now, the replica Pikachu was not so wary of Ash, but rather very intimate. It was late at night. A full moon was hanging high on soaring in the sky, and a group of Butterfrees that had completed their final evolution were about to fly over the clear mountain and continue to fly into the distance. After seeing this, Mutwo didn't know what he was thinking, but Ash could clearly feel Mutwo's current emotions. That was a kind of confusion to be continued. Mutwo, do you want to close your eyes? Chapter 84. Mutwo is in urgent need of guidance. Spiritual mentor Ash is online. Please subscribe. Mutwo, genetic Pokemon attribute. Psychic ability. Oppression, tension, hidden, activated qualification. Darker orange learned moves. Confusion, disable, swift, ancient power, agility, psycho cut, shadow ball, safeguard, psychic, amnesia. Precognition, learnable moves, aura sphere, mental breakthrough, destruction light, light screen, protect, drain punch, psychic terrain, calm mind evaluation. As a Pokemon artificially created in the original work, because it was previously controlled by Giovanni, it has an extreme distrust of human trainers. At the same time, it has super high intelligence and its own copy Pokemon army. Since the last incident, Mutwo has fallen into confusion and urgently needs someone to guide it to establish the right concept. For the latter sentence, Ash felt that the system was telling the truth. After all, Mutwo is not native in the fundamental sense. Pokemon is just a puppet. Although it is out of control, it cannot integrate into this world for a while. So, its thoughts are a little different. Ash! Just when Ash was thinking about how to phrase it, Mutwo interrupted his thoughts. What's wrong, Mutwo? Do you think we have the right to survive? Of course, you're sitting next to me now, right? That means you survive in this world. But look, Mutwo pointed at Butterfree and Pidgey who were flying. They are Pokemon, they are life. But what about us, myself, and the Pokemon I created? We are not real lives. How can we survive? Ash, can you answer me? After listening to this, Ash finally understood that Mutwo still couldn't let go of the so-called replica in his heart. Originally, it was thought to be a replica of Mew, but Mutwo was unwilling to accept this identity and fought with Mew. Ash tried to stop them and almost lost his life. Ash didn't answer him directly, but looked at the two Pikachus beside him and asked, Mutwo, do you see any difference between these two Pikachus? Mutwo looked at the two Pikachus. One was on his shoulder, and the other was eating special food for electric Pokemon, and was lying in Ash's arms with great enjoyment. Without waiting for Mutwo to answer, Ash asked the replica Pikachu to come in front of Mutwo, with the purpose of letting it speak its inner thoughts. After seeing Ash nod, the replica Pikachu came to in front of Mutwo. Pikachu screamed a few times. You mean living here is like being in prison? The clone Pikachu nodded. But we are all Pokemon that are made, not real Pokemon. You are wrong, Mutwo, Ash said slowly. They are not tools that are copied, but lives with flesh and blood. Whether they are made or born, they have been independent individuals since they were born in this world. Pikachu's thoughts just now are also its most real thoughts. This is completely what it thinks, and I didn't interfere. So, they are real Pokemon, they are alive, and they have the right to live in this world. Pikachu, Ash's Pikachu echoed. Just when Ash was still counseling Mutwo, another beautiful but a little reckless lady came to the bus stop. In addition, the Rockets trio also followed from behind, wanting to ride their own hot air balloon to cross the clear cliff. Xiaojiang and Misty were always worried about Ash, so they wanted to reach the clear cliff by using the Rocket's hot air balloon, including the young lady from before. As a result, the 5 people and 1 cat were blown to and fro by the strong wind as soon as they ascended the hot air balloon, and the situation was unstable for a while. Everyone was trying to stabilize themselves, but no one noticed that the young lady from before took out an infrared telescope while everyone was not paying attention to check the situation on the island in the middle of the lake. Then they found Mutwo and Ash. Mutwo confirmed, I am Domino, the elite unit of the Rockets on standby, ready to go. To be continued. Chapter 85. Further contact, Team Rocket is coming, please subscribe. On the other side, Mutwo didn't know how to answer for a while after hearing what Ash said. So he sat on the ground, looked up at soaring in the sky, and recalled those words. Ash knew that with Mutwo's current thinking, it would be impossible for him to figure it out in a short time. So he had to rely on practical actions to further change his mind. So, by the clear spring on the lake island, Ash prepared to implement the second plan. He took out the special food for psychic Pokemon exchanged from the system mall, handed it to Mutwo, and said, Here, let me give you this to try. And he also liked this place very much because the spring water here seemed to have a magical effect. After Ash drank a sip, he felt relaxed all over, his mind was clear, and the system sounded. It is detected that the host has greatly improved all aspects of physical fitness after drinking the water of the clear spring. With just this short sentence, Ash felt that this spring water had a great effect, so he secretly memorized this mysterious and beautiful place. Maybe it will come in handy in the future. Having said that, Ash naturally knew that he would not be able to convince Mutwo with just his mouth like Naruto. So he used food, which was something that could be received, to further bring himself and Mutwo closer. The system's mall sells a variety of Pokémon food, as well as a variety of tools for making Pokémon food. If you are in the wild in the future, it will be a very good choice. Mutwo saw the Pokémon food he handed over, and because he subconsciously trusted him, he took it in his hand, tasted it lightly, and was immediately fascinated by the deliciousness. Delicious! After Mutwo praised, he quickly finished all the food Ash had just given him, and after eating it, he still felt a little unsatisfied. Ash smiled slightly and took out some more food and handed it to him. Sure enough, no matter what era or person, in front of delicious food, it is not worth mentioning. Even if Mutwo is a Pokémon with high IQ, it has only been created for less than a year and cannot withstand the captivate in front of delicious food. However, this happy picture will soon be broken. Ash keenly felt that many human spaceships were flying here, and there were many red lights to better find Mutwo's location. Mutwo also felt it, and after eating the remaining food in his hand, he looked at soaring in the sky and said, "Ash, this may be fate. I didn't expect Giovanni to move so quickly, but you are you, and no one can control you." Ash encouraged. For Giovanni, this is a noteworthy figure. His Pokémon is also very strong. What impressed him most was that he had a Beedrill. I wonder if there is a chance to fight. But now is not the time to think about this. Pika, Pika, Pika. Copy Pikachu suddenly left Ash's side, came to Mutwo, and kept shouting. Are you saying that we have no choice but to fight now? To protect the place where we live? Is this no longer a battle, but a war? Mutwo translated it. Copy Pikachu nodded. Ash smiled bitterly and looked at Copy Pikachu. I didn't expect that you, a little guy, are so eager to fight. My Pikachu is not as fierce as you. Pikachu, while Ash was looking at the spaceships, he also noticed a hot air balloon. It was obviously Team Rocket's hot air balloon, with Team Rocket Trio and Xiaojing and Misty on it. As for the yellow-haired girl, I don't know when she escaped on the glider. Ash shook his head helplessly. Mutwo, bring them here too. With them, at least we have more helpers. Mutwo nodded, and then used confusion to control the hot air balloon to come to them. As a result, the hot air balloon flew, and they landed safely on the ground. Misty, this is Mutwo. You still remember it? Ash introduced. Mutwo. Misty was surprised. After all, they still remembered how terrifying Mutwo's strength was. But seeing that Ash was safe and sound now, they felt much more relieved. Little brat, on the contrary, Team Rocket was not so lucky. After being thrown all over, they saw Mutwo, and a bad memory echoed in their minds. Ash looked at them. Misty, you came at the right time. What's wrong, Ash? The war is about to start. After Ash briefly explained the situation, please protect this island well. Mutwo and Team Rocket will definitely have a face-to-face confrontation with the professor. We must ensure that there is no worry. As he said that, he released Bayleaf, Alakazam, Houndour, and Snorlax, and said to them, I sent them to help you guard this island. Before that, Houndour, don't suppress yourself. Then, Houndour exuded white light all over his body, and was replaced by the majestic Houndoom. Mutwo looked at them. They are very reliable. When the time comes, Mutwo, your Pokémon will obey Alakazam's command. Alakazam, can you? Oh. Alakazam nodded firmly. This guy is very reliable. After Mutwo praised, he looked at Ash in embarrassment. Are we really going to fight? Mutwo, are you afraid that you don't belong? After all, you have to face the person who created you. Ash pointed out Mutwo's concerns. Mutwo looked at Ash in surprise, and then nodded. Don't you have me now? We eat together, fight together. Aren't we partners? Ash patted its shoulder again and gave it an affirmative look. Mutwo recalled everything he had just done with him and nodded, which was recognition. Then, get ready to fight. To be continued, Chapter 86, Ash's First Contact with Team Rocket. Please subscribe. Compared with Ash's Pikachu, the copy Pikachu is a little bolder in character. As a copy Pokémon that often accompanies Mutwo, it is the most able to understand the situation. Moreover, in terms of personal thinking, it is also stronger than other Pokémon. So, when Ash and Mutwo were still deploying strategies and organizing Pokémon to take refuge, the copy Pikachu secretly began to organize some Pokémon to escape from this place. Little did they know that all this was seen by Ash. It turned out that Ash knew that the copy Pikachu had very strong ideas and often mingled with Mutwo. So he kept a watchful eye on this copy, and the result was really what he expected. Mutwo, if you still don't understand what I said to you before, then come with me, and you will know after watching this. So, Ash and Mutwo came to the top of the mountain where Pikachu was and looked at it. Because Ash has the ability to understand Pokémon language, he can naturally understand what they are saying. If we continue to stay here, we will definitely be captured by humans and used as experimental materials. We can only take this opportunity to escape. But if we escape, where can we not escape to? The vast world, the ends of the earth. Where can we not go? The world is so big, there is always a place for us to survive. Most of the Pokémon gathered here by Pikachu's clones are water-based. Perhaps it is the yearning for the ocean in their blood that allows them to respond to the escape plan of the clone Pikachu. Mutwo just watched them cross the lake and did not stop them. Mutwo, you saw this scene just now. Not all Pokémon think exactly the same as you do. Ash said while he was thinking. You are right. Some are willing to leave, and some are willing to stay. If they stay here, I will use my own power to protect them. Of course, if they leave, I will not stop them. Even if they're all created by me, I have no right to interfere with their freedom. So you understand, they are not tools but lives with their own independent thoughts, living lives. Ash wanted to fundamentally change Mutwo's prejudice against replicas, so he let him see this. Then, what should I do about their freedom? No one can restrict their freedom. When they leave here and integrate into the natural environment, they are truly wild Pokémon in name. They may meet a trainer like me, or reproduce like your armored rhinoceros. This is life. After listening to Ash's words, Mutwo's heart was stirred. Looking at his figure, he said in his heart, just like my meeting you, it is also a destined fate. Ash, you are really a boy who surprises me. Unconsciously, the bond between Mutwo and Ash began to be established. As for Pikachu and other Pokémon who want to escape from this island, Ash and Mutwo can only stand in the distance to escort them and let them leave safely. Suddenly, Ash frowned and said to Mutwo, they are coming. Giovanni's spaceship suddenly appeared from behind the hillside. These spaceships fired very strange red light cannons targeting the Pokémon that had just leaned against the lakeshore. The Pokémon that were hit were paralyzed and could not move. They were directly collected by the Pokémon balls that fell from the spaceship. In the end, only the agile Pikachu was left to hold on. But no matter how agile he was, he could not withstand the dense artillery fire and was soon forced into a dead end. Just when he was desperate, a black shadow ball blocked the light cannon. Mutwo came to support. Seeing Mutwo, Pikachu's eyes flashed with tears. Mutwo attacked again. After a strong psi wave, all the Pokémon balls opened and the Pokémon that were collected were released again. After Mutwo appeared, the rocket team's spaceship stopped attacking and hovered in front of Mutwo, and then Giovanni appeared. It's you, Giovanni. See you again, Mutwo. Seeing Giovanni's possessiveness, Mutwo remained unmoved. My power is stronger now than when I was with you. Do you think you can still control me as you please? Please give me flowers 076710024 Feilu 233200330. You have indeed become stronger, but the technological power of humans will imprison your power. As he spoke, two robots, one blue and one red, appeared on both sides of Mutwo. The big ears of the two robots emitted thunder waves, and the force generated by the attraction between the two immediately repelled Mutuo to the ground. However, Mutuo was unharmed. Do you think this heartless machine can defeat me? After all, Mutuo's power is not psychic at all. It is precisely because it has no heart that it can only act with the goal of capturing you. Giovanni also knew this, so he trusted the machine. Not Pokémon. The output power of the two robots increased, but Mutuo once again resisted this power and burst out a powerful confusion, forcing the two robots back again and smashing them against the mountain wall. Giovanni was not surprised at all after seeing this. You were right, a machine without a heart can't hurt you at all, but because you have a heart, you also have weaknesses. It is true that I have no chance of winning in a head-on fight with you, but the real battle stage is that island, and you have more companions than these. Following the direction of Giovanni's finger, a large number of helicopters and spaceships approached the island, and Domino, who appeared earlier, also took off with the flying device on his back. This is Domino. The battle begins. However, Mutuo, who should have been nervous, smiled and said, Giovanni, you may not believe it, but I also have a companion. Mutuo's words made the calm Giovanni's face change, and he looked again and found that a flame suddenly appeared on the island. Then, a spaceship exploded and smoke filled the air. What is that? Giovanni was also unbelievable after seeing the scene in front of him. A completely transformed Charizard was slaughtering his team. Yes, it was a slaughter, because no spaceship could withstand the claws of this Charizard. It seems that Ash also participated in this battle. To be continued. The next chapter is the end of the battle. At that time, the new companion will also follow Ash and become his guardian. Chapter 87. The bond between Mutuo and Ash. Please subscribe. What is that? Giovanni was surprised after seeing the incredible scene. It turned out that after sensing Team Rocket's move, Ash directly let Charizard evolve into Mega Charizard XY form, and then sat on Charizard's back and moved with it. Charizard, let's go use Flare Blitz. With Ash's shout, Charizard's original golden dragon flames turned into dark blue flames and crashed into the spaceship in the center. With a bang, the spaceship was smashed into pieces. As for the island in the middle of the lake, most of the Pokémon have completed their refuge. Song has a few powerful Pokémon around Alakazam and other Forsong Pokémon. 527, they have set up ambushes at important checkpoints. As long as Team Rocket dares to come in from those entrances, what awaits them is the attack from the Pokémon. Ash personally attacked this time, mainly to find the main person in charge of this operation, because he knew that as long as the leader was controlled, the rest of the Rocket team would be like a group of trash fish and have no attack power. After knocking over the spaceship, Ash continued to look for the leader. According to his memory, the leader seemed to be a woman. Then, Domino was seen around the corner. When Domino saw Ash riding Charizard, she subconsciously wanted to escape, but was stopped by Ash. Hey, little sister, it's not impolite not to say hello when you first meet. Who are you? Domino asked. At this time, her communicator was also turned on, so Giovanni could also hear the conversation over there. I'm Ash from Pallet Town. Ash, are you going to be an enemy of Team Rocket? What do you think? Ash smiled slightly. Then, Giovanni felt that there was no sound over there. With his mind, he must have guessed that Domino was now controlled by Ash. In fact, the reason why Ash and Mutuo have an advantage is not only because of the right time, right place, and right people, but more importantly, Ash's Charizard has established a strong bond with him and has the power comparable to that of a mythical beast. After being subdued by Ash, Domino was very unwilling and threatened. Boy, do you know what you were doing? Big sister, you don't seem to understand your situation. To be honest, your Rocket team is indeed very powerful. But to be honest, except for your boss Giovanni and the 4 executives, I really don't take the others seriously. Besides, now that you are in my hands, it is equivalent to not having a bargaining chip to threaten Mutuo. Do you think he still has the heart to care about you? From the beginning to now, Giovanni has not spoken, and it seems that Ash has been right. After tying her up, Ash threw her to the Rocket Team trio. This big sister is in your hands. Give her the lines that you often get beaten up. Hey, leave it to us. Team Rocket is the best at this kind of work. After further confirming that there was no problem on the island, Ash rode Charizard to Mutuo's side. At this time, The two robots could not do anything to Mutwo unless Mutwo walked in by himself. But this is impossible. Uncle Giovanni, I had the honor to visit your Tokiwa gym last time, but at that time, you had already left, which was really a pity. Hearing Ash's relaxed words, Giovanni wanted to eat him alive. Ash, right? I have to admit that you are very capable, but you still have to travel after all. As long as Mutwo stays with you, you will be in danger at any time. Aren't you afraid? Afraid? If I'm afraid, I don't deserve to be Mutwo's partner. Besides, I welcome you to come to me at any time. As he said, Ash stretched out his right fist. After Mutwo understood, he made a fist with his left hand and touched it lightly, showing his attitude. At that moment, the bond between the two people deepened again. Mission fail, Liang. This was the last order from Chengdu. Mutwo, you will be mine sooner or later. After saying this, Giovanni led the troops away, and Domino also said the phrase, "What a disgusting feeling," very well, and it can be seen that the trio has worked hard to train them. Mutwo, I remember you have the ability to delete memories. Mutwo nodded, and then a blue light flashed in his eyes. It seemed that nothing had happened, but the Rocket Team's troops had completely forgotten about what happened today. Ash, your Charizard has become much stronger. Your Pokémon are all very good, and I feel like there seems to be some kind of connection between you and me. Ash said, that's a bond. Bond? What a magical thing. Later, Ash used the clear bell that Suicune had given him before to summon Suicune to help purify the water quality, which made this place better. Ash, through the battle just now, I understand, even if it is a copy, it is also a Pokémon, and it has the right to live with this world. They can also enter the human world. It seems that you finally figured it out. Ash, I want to follow you in 4.3 and see more of the excitement of this world. Mutwo suddenly said, what? Not only Ash, but also Misty and Xiaojang were shocked. Mutwo actually took the initiative to ask to follow Ash, a trainer with only two sides. You made me understand this truth, and you took the initiative to help me protect this place. It is reasonable for me to repay you and let me be your guardian. Ash was slightly stunned, then smiled slightly. Okay then, please give me more advice in the future. To be continued. The first mythical beast, Mutwo, came to report. I will see who doesn't subscribe, send flowers, comment votes, and reward. You know, Mutwo's Shadow Ball is not vegetarian. Chapter 88. Frozen Sunkern. Articuno's Traces. Please subscribe. After leaving the clear cliff, Ash and his friends continued their journey. Along the way, Ash was very excited because since Mutwo became his guardian, he actually received an unexpected reward. Congratulations to the host. You have captured Mutwo, and the XY power has been upgraded to become the Pseudo Bond power. Pseudo Bond power. When the host and a specific Pokémon have reached a certain degree of bond, they will enter the bond mode, and the specific Pokémon will become the host's unique form. Hint: this is only the first stage of bond evolution. If there is a suitable opportunity, the bond power will be upgraded to the real bond power again. Congratulations to the host. You have captured the first legendary beast, achieved the achievement of capturing legendary beasts, and received 10 Master Balls, 15 Ultra Balls, and a Psychic Special Move list. Seeing these rewards, Ash felt that the previous losses were nothing, because in order to capture Mutwo, Ash specially exchanged a Master Ball from the System Mall at 24. Although it was a little expensive, he still bought it. As a result, the reward this time was 10 Master Balls, so it was no problem for him to capture the beast he had always dreamed of. At first, Misty and Brock were a little scared about capturing Mutwo. After all, the previous incident had a great impact on their hearts. But Ash took the initiative to let Mutwo contact them. After a period of adjustment, Misty and Brock also changed their impression of Mutwo. Now they're still in a forest. The world of Pokémon is so natural and beautiful that you can walk into the forest almost every now and then. Click, click. As they were walking, suddenly Misty heard a little sound. This sound seems to be the sound of a camera pressing the shutter. Ash looked in the direction of the sound and saw a person squatting behind a bush taking pictures of Bellissum. After a closer look, he found that the person looked familiar. You are Archer? Based on Ash's previous memory, he recognized that the boy was Archer, who loved photography. After hearing Ash's voice, Archer turned around and looked at Ash and the others. Ash? I didn't expect to meet you here. Archer and Ash and the others have a long history. After all, they once fought together and formed a very good friendship. Ash, long time no see. You have become taller and more handsome. No. You are much more energetic. How are you doing recently? Of course I am. I took a lot of photos of Pokémon on the road. After saying that, Archer took out a photo album, which recorded the photos he took during the journey. Huh? Ash, is this your EV? Noticing the EV on Ash's shoulder, he was instantly melted, so he took out the camera and took a series of photos of it. Well, it hatched from an egg, and I paid close attention to it during the process. Ash said proudly. No wonder it sticks to you so much. By the way, Archer, what Pokémon did you come here to take pictures of? Ash also remembered that this encounter triggered the plot of Articuno on the Snowy Mountain. I don't know if there is a chance to capture it. After all, as one of the 3 sacred birds, and an ice type that Ash's team urgently needs, it is reasonable to pay attention to it. I came here because I heard that Articuno appeared nearby. Articuno? Ash and the other 3 were surprised. Is the news reliable? Ash asked cautiously. He couldn't guarantee that his crossing would not trigger a butterfly effect. It's true. I heard that someone saw Articuno nearby recently. Ash nodded secretly. It seems that the situation has not changed much. Wait a minute here. Did you forget something? Just then, the Pikachu on the shoulder seemed to notice something and reminded Ash. Everyone looked up and found that something had fallen. When it fell to the ground, it was found to be a frozen sun kern. After seeing it, Xiaojing hurriedly said, "This sun kern is frozen in the ice. It should be thawed out immediately." Then, Xiaojing hurried forward and wrapped it with a towel. Archer, is there a Pokémon Center or a house nearby? Ash asked. There is a small hotel not far from here. We can go there. And so, Ash and his friends came to this hotel. What happened next was just like the plot development. This hotel was called Sunflower. The story of the hostess Sophia and the host Markle and the photo of the couple with a group of Sunflora attracted Ash and his friends. Today was the 50th anniversary of their golden wedding, but the Sunflora was gone. After hearing this, Ash decided to use the Sunstone he won last time to let this Sunkern evolve into Sunflora. As usual, they beat the Rocket Trio away. As a result, with the exchange of this Sunflora, all the Sunflora in the vicinity came, just like the scene of their 49th anniversary. Under Archer's photography, the old couple completed their 50th wedding anniversary photo. To be continued, this chapter is just a transition. Please don't mind. Chapter 89, Hot Springs and Swinub, subscription request. Articuno's traces are not so easy to find. In order to achieve Archer's goal, Ash and his group said goodbye to the old couple Sophia and continued their journey to find Articuno. Now, they have come to a forest again. No matter how many times, Xiaojing's food is still as delicious as always. Archer couldn't help but exclaimed after eating Xiaojing's food. Yes, Xiaojing's food tastes good no matter how many times it is eaten. Ash praised on the side. When Misty was about to eat, she suddenly noticed something in the grass, so she couldn't help but turn her head to look over. After Ash noticed it, he asked, Misty, what's wrong? Ash, do you feel any movement over there? Misty even pointed over there with her finger. Xiaojing and Archer looked over there and found nothing and said to Misty, No. Misty, did you see it wrong? Ash knew she was telling the truth because he saw from the corner of his eye that Misty's food was gone, but he didn't remind her, but waited quietly. Misty looked for a while, but still didn't see anything, so she didn't care. However, when she turned around, she found that her food was gone. Ah, my food is gone, Misty said in surprise. It must be that thing that appeared in the bushes and took my food away. This time, Ash checked with the waveguide and found that there were 3 identical waveguides, and then said to Misty, Don't worry, Misty, I know who took your food. Ah, Ash, did you know so quickly? They were all surprised. Ash smiled slightly and led them to the bushes that Misty pointed to before. When they parted the bushes, they saw 3 Swinubs eating Misty's food. Huh? What kind of Pokemon are they? This is Swinub, a pig Pokemon with both ice and ground attributes. They like to live in cold climates, but their most well-known ability is to find underground springs, especially hot springs. Ash introduced, Can you find hot springs? That's amazing. Misty was also shocked by Swinub's magical ability. Swinub, so you came here. At this time, a person suddenly ran over, and it seemed that he was the owner of the 3 swinubs. I'm sorry my swinub has caused you trouble. After knowing the whole story, the person apologized sincerely. It doesn't matter. By the way, are you responsible for finding hot springs? Otherwise, there would be no 3 little pigs. Ash asked curiously. Yes, to be honest, I am the hot spring expert tree man, and I use them to find hot springs, but I don't know what happened recently. They can't determine the direction when looking for hot springs, and I have been feeling distress for this. So that's the case. Why don't we help you? Really? That's great. However, when returning, Jesse of the Rocket Trio heard the news from somewhere and actually came out with 2 other people to try to snatch the swinub of the tree man. After being ruthlessly taught a lesson by Ash's Pokémon, he left a sentence, "What a disgusting feeling," and flew away. Of course, he was beaten away. Then, after observing the contest condition of the 3 of them, Ash decided to let the tree man and him have a Pokémon duel. Perhaps it would change their current contest condition. Most Pokémon still yearn for fighting in their hearts. Whether they win or lose, it is another motivation for them. Once the fighting spirit is aroused, it will be much easier to do anything. After Ash's explanation, the tree man finally realized that he had never taken the feelings of the Pokémon into consideration, which led to the current situation. Sure enough, after the battle with Ash, their mental contest condition was much better than before. At this moment, another swinub jumped out from the side, staring at Ash with burning eyes. Is this swinub yours too, Mr. Shuyong? No, I only have 3 swinubs, so if I know, they should be wild. Swinub, a piglet Pokémon attribute. Ice ground ability. Snow hidden thick fat not activated qualification. Deepening purple learned moves. Tackle, mud slap, ice shard, icy wind, blizzard, earthquake learnable moves. Freeze ray, protect, dig, sand tomb, earth power, bulldoze, avalanche, body slam. Evaluation. A swinub living nearby and other swinub is different in that he is not interested in finding hot springs, but is very talented in fighting. If the host wants to capture him, he will definitely become a great general in the future. Ash saw the swinub, who was full of fighting spirit, and took out the Pokemon ball. Swinub, capture battle. It's you, Bayleaf. Ash sent Bayleaf to fight this battle. Bayleaf's own strength is much higher than the swinub, and in terms of attribute, it is also very beneficial to Bayleaf, so Bayleaf easily won the victory. Swinub was also successfully captured by Ash. Very good. I captured Swinub. Pikachu. After saying goodbye to the tree man, Ash and his party continued their journey to find Articuno. To be continued, Swinub, the first general of the ice system, is here to report. Everyone, please subscribe quickly and send fresh Sydney tickets or something. I have enough energy to update. Chapter 90 Snow Mountain Trip. Ash conquers Jigglypuff. Please subscribe. Ash, are you sure this is the right way to go? According to the traces of Sunkern's fall, there should be nothing wrong with this route. After saying goodbye to the tree man, Ash and his party continued on their journey to find Articuno. However, they soon discovered a problem. That is, they had no idea where to start. Although Archer knew that there were traces of Articuno, he had no direction, let alone the specific direction, and even the approximate range was unknown. At this time, Ash proposed that according to the traces of the frozen Sunkern's fall, Articuno's location should be found. His explanation was as follows. The freezing of that Sunkern must have something to do with Articuno. It's not winter yet, and there are no ice caves nearby. The only explanation is that there was Articuno where Sunkern was originally. So, as long as we follow that location, we will definitely be able to find clues about Articuno. Because everyone didn't have a good idea, they could only follow Ash's arrangement. As a result, after 2 days, everyone finally arrived at the foot of a snow-capped mountain that towered 300 meters into the sky. This mountain is the highest one around here, Xiaojing said while looking at the travel brochure. Although this mountain has no specific name, it is very strange. The strange thing is that its appearance is covered with snow. The heavy snow has covered all the vegetation here. If you don't look carefully, you really can't see it. They're about to climb this mountain, and the group quickly put on warm clothes. If they go up, they will have to wear cold-proof clothes. Because the climate of the snowy mountain is very unstable. Just in case, Ash activated his wave power to prevent any accidents. As a result, an accident really happened, but this accident really surprised him a little. I saw a Pokémon with a pink body, a body like air balloon, and Matt Wind in his hand frozen there. Ash recognized it at a glance. This is Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff, air balloon Pokémon attribute. Normal, fairy ability. Competitive, friendly defense. Not activated qualification. Dark purple learned moves. Sing, double slap, pound, defense curl, stockpile, swallow, body slam. Euro ball. Learn moves. Copycat, mimic, disarming voice, sweet kiss, disable, charm, play rough, body slam evaluation. A Pokemon that follows them, with a song that makes people want to rest, but anyone who doesn't listen to its singing will be graffitied. Because it has been alone in the wild for many years, its awareness and combat moves are also higher than those of normal Jigglypuff. It is recommended that if the host wants to capture it, it must be able to withstand its singing. Once it is happy, it is very likely to be captured by you voluntarily. I also feel that I haven't seen it for a long time. It turns out that it was frozen here. Xiaojing said, "This Jigglypuff is frozen here. It must be related to Articuno." Archer's focus is indeed different. No matter what you say, save it first. Ash looked at it and punched the ice. Now his physique is several times stronger than the original. Breaking an ice block is no problem. Finally, there is a clue about Articuno. Archer is inevitably a little anxious, so as soon as Jigglypuff came out, Archer grabbed it and asked, "Jigglypuff, have you seen Articuno? Tell me, where is it now?" Being asked anxiously, Jigglypuff gave it a double slap without mercy, and his face was swollen. Ash laughed. "Archer, if you ask me like this, I'll beat you up." Then he came to it, squatted down, and asked, "Jigglypuff, do you want to come with me? If you come with me, there will be many new things, and maybe someone will listen to your singing." "What? Ash, you want to subdue it?" Misty Xiaojing was surprised. After all, although this Jigglypuff is so cute, you can only know the horror of it if you experience it yourself. Jigglypuff blinked and took out Matt Wind. Seeing this, Ash quickly threw Curly his Pokemon ball and let it use Safeguard to cover everyone. Jigglypuff began to sing. After singing a song, it found that no one present fell asleep, but listened to it quietly to the end of the song. I don't know how happy it is, so it jumped into Ash's arms and rubbed his chest with its head. Then Jigglypuff, "Are you willing to come with me?" Regarding this, Ash was not afraid either, as he had Chirua by his side, and Bayleaf would also have the skill Safeguard after evolving into Meganium. When the time came, they would not be affected by the singing if they could protect one. Jigglypuff, Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff nodded happily, indicating that he agreed. "Then please give me more advice in the future, Gong." Pikachu. Chirua. "Okay, I have captured Jigglypuff." Pikachu. In this way, the god of song, Jigglypuff was successfully captured by Ash. I believe that in the near future, this fairy-type Jigglypuff will definitely play a greater role in him. To be continued. The first fairy-type General Jigglypuff is here to report. See who hasn't subscribed yet, and who hasn't collected and sent Sydney tickets as a reward. When the time comes, Jigglypuff may go to your house one day to sing for you. Chapter 91 Articuno appears. Please subscribe. After taming Jigglypuff, Ash's fairy team has added its first general. Speaking of which, Ash's original team really didn't have any Pokemon of the fairy attribute. As for now, there is a Ponyta with Galar region bloodline, and there will be fairy type in the future, as well as Clefairy, Slurpuff, and Sylveon from the Kalos region. In short, each attribute will have a full team, which is Ash's goal. Back to the present. After Ash's team added a new companion, they continued to walk up. "Ash, look!" When they walked up further, they actually found a Pokemon Center, which was really timely for Ash and his team. I didn't expect there would be a God Pokemon Center here. There was a sign at the entrance of this Pokemon Center. "Good news! The world's highest Pokemon Center. The last chance for Pokemon to recover." To commemorate, Ash and his friends took a group photo in front of the Pokemon Center. This will be their wonderful time in the future. "Ash, you must find Articuno. I want to take the most perfect photo as close to Articuno as possible," Archer said with determination. "Don't worry, there will be one." Ash said, "Excuse me, are you also here to find Articuno?" At this time, Nurse Joy had already helped them recover their Pokémon. Of course, Officer Jenny was also with them. Nurse Joy, Officer Jenny, is there any trace of Articuno here? Archer asked impatiently. Nurse Joy nodded. There is indeed Articuno. Speaking of which, the Snow Mountain has a deep connection with Articuno. When talking about this, Nurse Joy took them to the back wall of the mountain and found a small temple dedicated to Articuno. There was also a statue of Articuno engraved inside, which looked lifelike. Articuno is the patron saint of the Snowy Mountain. Nurse Joy introduced the legend about Articuno. According to their story, Articuno will not only visit in winter, but also build nests in places with snow all year round, which is convenient for flying everywhere. Then, they also heard about Articuno's deeds of saving people. This is not fabricated out of thin air, but a real thing. On the other hand, in order to get ahead of Ash and his team, the 3 members of Team Rocket climbed the Snowy Mountain earlier than them, but they suffered a lot from the cold because they had no cold-proof equipment. As a result, during the climb, they were harassed by dozens of Spearows, causing the safety rope to loosen and they fell down. They were lucky to fall on a cliff, but it was still very cold here. When they were confused, a blue figure appeared in front of them. Then, they knew nothing. When searching again, Ash remembered that in the original book, the 3 members of Team Rocket first encountered Articuno and were frozen into ice. So according to his memory, Ash immediately found the place where Team Rocket was frozen. After the same violent thawing method, Ash quickly found Articuno's trace, which was on the Snowy Mountain. As for Team Rocket, in order to prevent them from making trouble again, they were handed over to Officer Jenny. Anyway, these 3 people had plenty of ways to escape. Climbing the Snowy Mountain is really not easy, and unfortunately, they encountered blizzard again. So whether they can see the road clearly is a challenge. For this reason, Ash deliberately activated the maximum wave power. If pedestrians fall into the cliff again, it would be a loss. We can't go any further. Ash noticed that there was a cliff in front of him, so he quickly asked them to stop. Ash knew that if blizzard grew bigger later, they would probably get separated, so he had to say what he had just said. However, at this moment, blizzard suddenly stopped. It stopped very suddenly, and when they looked up, they saw the existence that everyone had been thinking about, right in front of them. The whole body was covered with ice blue feathers, and there were 3 upright feathers on the top of the head forming a crown. The tail was long, and at first glance, it looked like a colorful flag. This was the most beautiful of the 3 sacred birds, Articuno, which was the unanimous evaluation of later generations. At this time, Ash had to admire the fact that the luck of his body was too strong. In the memory of his previous life, he had met the 3 sacred birds and the sea god Lugia in the Orange Islands. He would meet more sacred beasts in the future, but he would not mention them for now. Archer reacted very quickly and quickly took out his camera to capture this most precious moment. Ash had no idea of conquering Articuno. First, although it had no job, it was also the guardian of the area, so it might not be so covetous in battle. Secondly, the blizzard just stopped because of it. Misty's contest condition was not good now. If he fought to conquer the enemy, the safety of the people around him would not be guaranteed. However, Articuno suddenly landed in front of him and stared at him with his 10 pairs of eyes. "Do I have anything?" Ash recalled, and suddenly he took out the previous rainbow wing from his backpack and said, "Is it this?" After Articuno looked at it, he touched Ash's hand with his beak and flew away. "Congratulations, host. I received Articuno's gift and detected the special item Silverwing. Silverwing. It is said to be the feather of Lugia, the god of the sea. With this item, you can summon Lugia. Silverwing? It's a very good thing, because I will meet Lugia and her son later, and it might come in handy." After taking the photo, Archer was very satisfied, so he followed Ash and his group back to the Pokémon Center. To be continued. As for Articuno, I still think the one in the frontier is better. After all, it and Dara are just partners, not a real trainer relationship. As for updates, I will update at least once. And if I have enough time, I will update more. Everyone can rest assured because there's a lot of work going on here, and I am busy until the evening. I am not so energetic. However, I guarantee with my head that if I have enough time and energy, I will definitely update more. Please rest assured. Chapter 92, Kalava Evolves Infernape. Please subscribe. Now Ash has 2 very rare feathers in his hand, namely Rainbow Wing and Silver Wing. Ash must not be careless about these two things, because the relevant plot may be triggered at any time, and these two things will come in handy at that time. After saying goodbye to Archer and leaving the snow mountain, they continued to move towards their destination, a Sagei city. Now, they came to a valley, and they had to pass through this valley to go to the next town. But now, Ash, don't you think the big rocks on it may fall at any time? Misty looked at the big rocks on both sides of the valley and said with a little fear in her heart. Ash looked around. If it was from the perspective of a war, this was a very suitable place for an ambush. After all, there were many rocks on it. As long as the entrance and exit were blocked, no matter how many enemies there were, they would have nowhere to escape. In that case, let's get through here quickly. The only girl in the team wanted to hurry up, so Ash and Xiaojing naturally followed her advice. However, the weather in this valley is always so unstable. Before they could run a few steps, a strong wind suddenly blew, and the stones on the top of the mountain fell from the top and hit everyone's head. After Ash saw it, he released Bayleaf and Curlia without hesitation. Bayleaf, Leaf Storm. Curlia, Confusion. Curlia first used Confusion to control the falling stones, and then Bayleaf swung hard, and countless leaves rolled up a storm to hit the stones, and saw that the stones were crushed into powder in the storm. Bayleaf, Curlia, you did a good job. Balong, Kairu. I didn't expect you to be so powerful. Just then, 3 fiery red figures rushed out from behind the valley. Looking closely, it turned out to be 3 Arcanines rushing over, one of which had a beautiful young lady on its back, and another one had a boy sitting on its back, who looked older than Ash Arnold. Obviously, the brother and sister also saw the scene of rock throw and came to rescue. When Xiaojing saw her, he immediately became dishonest again. Thank you. You are riding the brave and mighty Arcanine with a heroic figure. Are you here to save me? Then he made a surprising move. Come on, ride on the brave and mighty me this time. Okay. Do you know how embarrassing you look now? Misty couldn't bear it anymore, so she pulled his ear and carried him away. Ash ignored him, but instead looked at the 3 Arcanines with great interest. To be honest, Ash also yearned for such Pokémon. Although his predecessor had come into contact with Growlithe, but still couldn't find a match. But his rival Gary seemed to have an Arcanine. Thank you anyway, my name is Ash, and I'm going to a Sagei city. My name is Xiaoyao, that's my brother Xiaoyu. If you're going to a Sagei city, I can give you a ride. Oh, are you going to a Sagei city too? No, we're just going a little way with you. We're mainly going to the other side of the mountain to deliver some things. As she said that, she took a bag from the back of another Arcanine, which was full of firestones. Are these firestones all prizes? Seeing these firestones, Ash recalled the time when he participated in the grass Pokemon competition, and the prize was 20 Leaf Right. Yes, there is a fire Pokemon championship on the other side of the mountain. If you want to participate, you can sign up now. Of course, I will participate in such a competition. Thank you again, Miss Xiaoyao. Ash thanked him. For the Pokemon participating this time, Ash decided to use Kalava. According to the previous situation, it was almost time for this kid to evolve. Let's take this game as an opportunity. So, Ash and his team changed their minds temporarily and went to participate in the Fire Pokemon Championship first, and then went to a Sagei city. This competition was smaller in scale than the previous Grass-type competition. The participating Pokemon were nothing more than Pokemon that had not fully evolved, such as Growlithe, Ponyta, and Cyndaquil. Ash easily won the championship with Kalava. For point 6, just as Ash thought, after the fight, Kalava also evolved into Infernape successfully. It was no longer the cute and silly Cyndaquil period, but was replaced by a terrible aura all over the body. The majestic and heroic posture made people look sideways. This matter was also a coincidence. Xiaoyao was responsible for transporting these firestones and met Ash. Ash participated in this competition and won the championship. The firestone returned in Ash's hand. This, perhaps, is a kind of luck. To be continued. The Infernomon roared and reported, "If you don't subscribe, you will be roasted." Chapter 93. Sudden Incident. Xiaojing fainted. Please subscribe. The road to a Sagei city is not easy at all. Ash and his group have been on the road. On this day, they plan to camp by a lake. Wow, the lake water here is so cool. After seeing the lake water, Ash couldn't help but splash the lake water on his face. The cool feeling instantly made Ash smelling salts a lot. In order to let everyone rest better, Ash and his group released their Pokémon. At present, the Pokémon following Ash are Pikachu, Bayleaf, Kirlia, Eevee, plus the newly captured Jigglypuff and Swinub, plus the Mewtwo. Anyway, the Rocket team can't catch up for a while, so they can also communicate with the Pokémon they currently have. After the evolution of Infernape, Ash teleported it back and communicated with Houndoom and the group of Houndours about fire. As for Xiaojang, he currently has Graveler, Steelix, Stantler, Golbat, and Pinico with him. Misty has Psyduck, Frog, Goldeen, and Starmie with her. The three Pokémon began to move freely near the lake. On the other side, Misty cleaned up the table and placed the dishes on the open space and nodded with satisfaction. That's it, Xiaojang. Everything is ready here. Is breakfast not ready yet? Xiaojang now looks like he is staring at the fire and cooking, but he doesn't respond. When Ash saw him like that, he suddenly remembered that in one episode, Xiaojang suddenly fell ill, and Ash and Misty were responsible for the daily diet and daily life of the day, which was very difficult. It seems that it happened after we got off the snowy mountain. In order to verify his idea, Ash walked over and prayed, "I hope it won't be so coincidental." As a result, Ash patted him lightly and Xiaojang fell to the side. Ash quickly caught him and touched his forehead. "It's so hot. He has a high fever." Misty also quickly touched it, and it was indeed very hot. Then what should we do? Without Xiaojang, Misty had to put her hope on Ash. Let's send him to the cabin first. Ash had to help Xiaojang to the cabin and cover him with a blanket. Xiaojang is exhausted. We have been on the road for a while and have not had a good rest. In addition, Xiaojang has been responsible for cooking and taking care of Pokémon in our team. After coming down from the snowy mountain, he had a fever due to the alternation of cold and heat. Ash analyzed. Yes, Xiaojang has been helping us take care of these daily affairs along the way. I didn't expect him to fall ill. Let's stay here for a day. Wait until he recovers. Xiao Leitong said. Well, let him rest for a while. I'm still awake. Xiaojang suddenly sat up and said, "Ah, Xiaojang, didn't you fall asleep just now?" "Who said I fell asleep? How do I look like I fell asleep?" Brother, this feature of yours is really easy to be misunderstood." Seeing that Xiaojang was about to come down, Ash immediately stopped him and said, "Hey Xiaojang, you're a patient now. What are you doing down here? I still have to take care of Pokémon, boil water, cook, wash clothes, and some things must be done by me." "Forget it. You are in this contest condition now. You must have a good rest. Otherwise, it will be more troublesome if your condition worsens. As for the things you mentioned, just leave it to me." "Okay, if you don't understand anything, just look through the notes in my backpack." Seeing this, Xiaojang had to compromise. Although the notes were clearly written, it was still dizzying for someone who knew nothing. Misty was already feeling overwhelmed. "Ah, it's really a headache. Although it's written very clearly, I still don't know where to start." Ash was the same, but he was a time traveler, so he naturally had some experience from his past life to use. But as it is now, it's probably not enough. "It doesn't matter. Just ask the system when you are in doubt." Ash flipped through it and exchanged 3 abilities, namely Top Cooking Mastery, Top Medical Mastery, and Top Life Skills. The first one is naturally easy to understand, and the last one is the necessary common sense and life skills other than cooking, which is very useful. Of course, the price is that it costs nearly 1/3 of the exchange points. "Don't worry. Leave everything to me." Ash patted his chest and said, "Can you do it?" Misty was not surprised to doubt it, but she had never seen Ash do these things before, so she couldn't help but feel a little bit unconvinced. "If I say it can be done, it can be done. Just do it as I tell you." Pinico and Golbat, you go and check on Xiaojang's situation. Tell me if there is any situation at any time. Steelix, Graveler, you and a few Pokémon go to stand guard to prevent the Rockets from taking the opportunity to attack. Swinub, you have a good sense of smell. Go and see where there are fruits. Bayleaf, go and see if there are any suitable herbs nearby. Ash assigned the tasks in just a few words and was very organized. Misty felt that Ash was too calm now. "Misty, you eat first. The food Xiaojang made before is ready. I'll go make some porridge for Xiaojang. He needs something light now." After saying that, Ash went to prepare it himself. Misty looked at Ash's busy back, and the unknown feeling came up again. After the porridge was ready, Ash brought it over. Misty, try it first to see how it tastes. Okay, let me see how your first cooking turned out. After saying that, Misty picked up the spoon and tasted it gently. It's delicious. I didn't expect that, Ash. You can actually cook and cook so well. Misty couldn't help but praise. Ash smiled slightly. As long as you think it tastes good, I'll add some herbs collected by Bay Leaf and cook it for a while. When Xiaojing drinks it, he just needs to have a good sleep. I guarantee that he will be fine the next day. Really? That would be great. After the porridge was cooked, Ash slowly brought it to him. Xiaojing praised it highly and fell asleep in a daze. Ash, why did Xiaojing fall asleep after drinking the porridge you made? I added some herbs that help sleep to the porridge, which can calm the nerves, so that Xiaojing can make up for the time he didn't get a good rest overnight. Ash explained. It seems that you know a lot. After washing the dishes and plates, Misty and Ash sat on the grass at night, looking at the night sky. Misty, there are only two of us here, and I want to ask you something. Ash suddenly said. Misty was slightly stunned. What's the matter? Tell me. That is, I can understand that you are afraid of Gyarados because you have the shadow of your childhood. But why are you afraid of bug-type Pokémon? It seems that you have no shadow of bug-type Pokémon in your childhood. Isn't Stephanie like this? Afraid of insects, afraid of ugliness, afraid of getting old. The author doesn't know how to say it. This is just my own understanding. Misty, your dream is to become a water Pokémon master. But have you ever thought about it? If one day the opponent knows your weakness and sends 6 bug-type Pokémon to fight you, what should you do? Escape? Ash said seriously. Some things need to be experienced. It's not terrible to have fear, but it's terrible that you don't dare to face it. Let's put aside bug-type Pokémon for now. You must break through the Gyarados level. As a water Pokémon master, you must have your own main Pokémon, and Gyarados is undoubtedly the best choice. It is very likely to become your trump card in the future. Hearing Ash say this, Misty was stunned. She never expected that Ash would enlighten her like this. In the past, Ash didn't ask about these things. Ash touched her head. You will definitely overcome these 2 difficulties. I believe in you. Believe me? Misty, who returned to the tent, kept thinking about Ash's words. Is he so confident in himself? Then should I work hard myself? To be continued originally. This part of the plot was a little warm, but everyone knows that the review has been a bit strict recently. I was afraid that if I was not careful, this chapter would be reviewed, so I chose the second option. As for Swinub, he can find hot springs. With his sensitive nose, finding food shouldn't be a problem. Anyway, I've already written this, so don't argue with me. Chapter 94, Sumo Tournament. Long time no see. Snorlax, please subscribe. After a day of recuperation, Xiaojing's illness has been cured. In fact, Xiaojing just caught a slight cold. Under the care of Ash and Misty, Xiaojing's mental condition returned to the previous state the next day. Then they continued their journey, and their destination was a Sagei city. On this day, they came to a small town. Xiaojing looked at the travel brochure in his hand. This place seems to be called Lux Town. Hearing this name, Ash remembered that in this part of the plot, Ash took Snorlax to participate in the sumo competition here and won the championship. By the way, for Snorlax, the impression only stays in the residual memory of the Orange Islands and has not seen it in person. Boom, boom. Just as Ash was recalling, he suddenly heard a violent collision sound coming from the front, and the group followed the sound after hearing it. I saw a Feraligatr wrestling with a Nidoking. Not long after, Feraligatr suddenly lifted the Nidoking up and threw it out with force. It can be seen that this Feraligatr is a real strong man, and it roared with excitement. Okay, next one. A strong young man said, it seems that he is the trainer of this Feraligatr. It's Feraligatr. Feraligatr is a water Pokémon. Misty likes it very much. As the final form of the 3 water Pokémon in the Johto region, it can be said to be both powerful and handsome. However, Misty does not have the luck of Ash to subdue it. Ash thought that he would teleport his Croconaw over later to worship his predecessor. On the other side, Heracross, Ursaring, Golem, and other Pokémon took turns to play, all as sparring partners for this Feraligatr. And the result is self-evident. They were all defeated. This Feraligatr is very good. It didn't even breathe after playing so many games. Xiao Gang praised from the side. It's a great fight. After seeing the practice, an old man exclaimed from the side, My Feraligatr and I will definitely win the championship in this year's Pokemon Sumo tournament. Obviously, he is very confident in his Feraligatr. However, when Ash heard about the Pokemon Sumo tournament, his eyes lit up. Obviously, he was also very interested in this competition. After going forward to communicate, I learned that the trainer of this Feraligatr is also the owner of this Pokemon Sumo Hall, Raiden, and the old man is the chairman of the Pokemon Conference Association. The old man looked very friendly and said to Ash and the others with a smile, You are lucky to be here. It turned out that they had just arrived at the Pokemon Sumo Conference, and Feraligatr was practicing for it. The so-called Pokemon Sumo is a kind of battle in which Pokemons are forbidden to use special moves, such as Water Gun and Flamethrower, and can only use bare hands to knock down the opponent. This kind of battle can be said to be the most primitive kind of battle, and it is also very attractive. Looking at Feraligatr, who was practicing pound on a wooden stake, Ash said to the laughing man, Is it too late to sign up now? Of course, the requirement for participating is that you must have a Pokemon weighing more than 80 kilograms. More than 80 kilograms? That guy must be able to do it, Ash thought. Then where can I go to sign up? You can sign up at the Pokemon Center in our town. Ash nodded, and then went to the Pokemon Center first, teleported Croconaw and Snorlax back, and teleported Swinub and Bayleaf back. As for Jigglypuff, forget it. If this guy sings in Professor Oak's backyard, Professor Oak and all the Pokemon will probably fall asleep. As for Bayleaf, it's only temporary. It will be the same after the competition is over. It's just right for her to communicate with Ivysaur and Gloom. After arriving at the registration location, Ash released Snorlax. It's decided to be you, Snorlax. When he saw Snorlax was awake, Ash patted his belly. Man, long time no see. Let's cheer for the sumo tournament this time. Kirby. There was a scale at the registration office, which was used to weigh Pokemon. But Ash didn't let it stand on the scale, because, judging from its appearance, it was enough to meet the requirements. Nurse Joy, I won't let Snorlax weigh it. It should meet the requirements for participating in the competition. Ash said politely to Nurse Joy, who was in charge of the place, fearing that the scale would be crushed. Well, there is no need to weigh this. Just looking at it, it must be more than 80 kilograms. You can participate in the competition. In this way, Ash and Snorlax participated in this sumo tournament. What kind of exciting performance will they have? Please look forward to it. Additional note, Snorlax, Sleepy Pokemon King, okay, attribute, normal ability, thick fat, glutton, hidden qualification, dark purple learned moves, licking tongue, tackle, body slam, rest, headbutt, destruction, protect, freezing fist, megaton boxing, megaton jump kick, learnable moves, transformation, stockpile, swallow, sleep talk, heavy impact, high horsepower, giga impact, yawn, block, arm punch, belly drum, steel roller, terrain pulse evaluation. The talented Snorlax captured by the predecessor Ash not only can swim, but also has a more agile speed than its peers. If trained well, it can become the main Pokemon normal trump card. This is such an early update today. Have you guessed what I'm going to do? Chapter 95, Sumo Tournament Snorlax shows his power. Please subscribe. Everyone, this year's Pokemon Sumo Tournament is about to begin. Which Pokemon will win the final victory this year? I look forward to you presenting a passionate and intense duel to all the audience. Coincidentally, Ash stood with Snorlax and Mr. Raiden, and Mr. Raiden could tell at a glance that Ash's Snorlax was extraordinary. Ash, your Snorlax breeder is quite good. He had a feeling that this Snorlax would be his most powerful rival. Snorlax is the strongest Pokemon on par with Charizard and Pikachu, and is also Ash's most trusted general. No, Mr. Raiden's Feraligatr is also very powerful, Ash said modestly. Then, Ash took out Croconaw's Pokemon ball and said, Come out, Croconaw, meet your senior. Croconaw saw that the Pokemon in front of him was a few sizes bigger than himself. In addition to Mr. Raiden's Feraligatr, there was another Pokemon that caught Ash's attention, which was a very sturdy Blastoise. If nothing unexpected happens, this rival is likely to be one of the 507. In addition, Ash also paid attention to the movements of the Rocket Trio. If I remember correctly, the Rocket Trio will also participate in this game in disguise, mainly because the prize this time is too tempting. The prize is King's Rock and a year's worth of Pokémon food, which is a kind of motivation for Snorlax. I declare the game to begin. The first game was between Miltank and Ursaring, but Ash saw at a glance that Miltank's group was disguised by the Rocket Trio, and as for the Miltank, Wobbuffet was disguised. Ursaring came up and used a push attack, but Wobbuffet's back fist bounced Ursaring out. Although he won, such cheating was soon discovered. After being discovered, the Rocket team did not pretend anymore and showed their cards directly. The result can be imagined. Ash's Pikachu sent them to the sky with a thunderbolt. What a disgusting feeling. After a small episode, the game continued. The charm of the sumo competition is that there is no sec attribute restraint. If you want to win, you have to rely on your own weight and fists and feet to win, which can be said to be the most primal way of fighting. The reason for this is that in the following match, Mr. Raiden's Feraligatr is against a Golem. From the attribute point of view, Feraligatr is better than Golem, but don't forget that this is a sumo competition and there is no attribute restraint. Golem's weight is a great threat to Feraligatr, but during the game, Mr. Raiden suddenly let Feraligatr relax his body, so that Golem's weight became a danger to himself. And then Feraligatr found the opportunity and punched Golem in the stomach and defeated it. Next is Ash's game. Their rival is a fast-swimming frog. Go! Fast-swimming frog. Fast-swimming frog rushed up with great momentum, hit Snorlax's belly, and then was ejected out of the field by Snorlax's big belly. During the whole process, Ash did not issue any orders at all, as if he had expected it, because of Snorlax's advantage in the belly. So Ash's match went very smoothly, and he soon entered the semifinals. Mr. Raiden also entered the semifinals with the help of the powerful Bream. In the top 4 match, Feraligatr faced the Blastoise, and Snorlax faced a Machamp. Ash, see you in the finals, Raiden said to Ash. Me too. I look forward to playing against you in the finals. The first match was between Feraligatr and Blastoise, and it was also a showdown between the Johto region and Kanto's 3 Water-type Pokémon. This battle made Misty feel awkward because both were Water-type Pokémon and both were her most desired Pokémon, and she didn't know which one to support. As soon as they came, the 2 Pokémon collided with each other, but it was obvious that Feraligatr was more powerful. Slowly, Blastoise was about to be pushed out, but when he reached the edge of the field, Blastoise relied on his strong hind legs to stabilize himself. And then, under the command of the trainer, he used the steel cannon on his shoulder to counterattack Song, but he dodged quickly. Feraligatr took advantage of Blastoise not turning around and pushed him with a palm. Blastoise stabilized again, then turned around and did an arm thrust. Feraligatr took 2 steps back and was in a critical situation. In the end, Feraligatr still avoided Blastoise's fatal blow with his agile body and punched in Blastoise's chin and then threw it out. On the other side, Snorlax's match seemed very easy because this was another guy defeated by his stomach. In the final, Snorlax faced Feraligatr. Feraligatr pushed it out. This time Feraligatr learned his lesson and pushed it not from the front, but from the top. It really worked, and Snorlax was slowly pushed out. It's really smart, but Snorlax knocked him away. This time, Ash finally gave the order, which was also the only order he gave in this game. Before that, Snorlax fought alone. Snorlax pushed forward with its bulging belly, and Feraligatr was bounced out. This gave Raiden a headache, because if he wanted to defeat the Snorlax in front of him, he had to use the opponent's force to fight back like before. But this Snorlax didn't use his arms at all, and only relied on his belly to defeat rival, so he had no idea where to start. It's time to end Snorlax, jump on the spot, and knock him away. Snorlax jumped on the spot, and the whole audience trembled. Feraligatr also tried his best to stabilize his body, but what awaited him was Snorlax's impact, and he was knocked out without any surprise. In this way, Ash's Snorlax showed his power and won the championship. King's Rock was obtained, and as for the food of that year, needless to say, it was eaten up by Snorlax. Later, Ash exchanged for normal energy cubes, which made him give up. To be continued, Snorlax, this general will definitely have a wonderful performance at the Silver Conference, so let's wait and see. It's rare to update twice today, so don't you say anything? Chapter 96, Controlling Pokémon? Not existing. Please subscribe King's Rock. Item. It is an in-battle effect item and an evolution-carrying item effect. When a Pokémon carrying this item uses any attack that would not cause a flinching contest condition and causes damage, there is a 10% chance that the target will be put into a flinching contest condition. Flinging this item will cause the target to be put into a flinching contest condition. When not in battle, this item can be carried by a specific Pokémon and then evolved. Applicable Pokémon: Frog, Slowpoke. Ash looked at the King's Rock he won through the competition, and he didn't feel much. The reason is simple. Although this is a more precious item than an evolution stone, his System Mall also sells this kind of thing, and the appearance is much better than the one in his hand. The high-quality King's Rock exchange from the System Mall that Slowpoke carried before was not good, except that it was a little expensive. Let's keep this thing for Misty. She has a Politoed in her hand. When the time comes, I'll give this thing to her, and her Politoed will evolve into Politoed. Ash, it's time to eat. After leaving Luxtown, Ash teleported Snorlax back, but before leaving, he bought a few skill cards, namely Giga Impact, High Horsepower, Heavy Slam, Terrain Pulse, which are suitable for Snorlax training. The advantage of skill cards over skill discs is that they can better help Pokémon understand this skill, and the learning speed will be faster. Then, Ash teleported Bayleaf and Wartortle back. According to Professor Oak, Wartortle and Ivysaur both have signs of evolution, and Bayleaf is also more energetic during the training with Ivysaur. If nothing goes wrong, it is estimated that it will also evolve. Ash's 2 Fire-type starter Pokémons have completed their final evolutions, and the next ones are the Grass-type and Water-type ones. That's good, Golbat, it's time to eat. Xiaojang shouted to Golbat. When watching Golbat flying over, Misty couldn't help but admire. Xiaojang's Golbat breeder is really great. This Golbat was captured by Xiaojang when he was in MT Moon. At that time, he was still a Zubat. When Ash and Suicune met before, his Zubat evolved. Ash looked at this Golbat and estimated that if there was another chance, it would evolve into the final form Crobat. Just when he was about to eat, Golbat seemed to sense something and flew towards the side of the forest. Seeing this, Ash remembered that in the original book, there seemed to be a mask and a tin staff, which could control Pokémon once worn, and the owner of this thing was Jessie from the Rocket Trio. At that time, only Golbat was out of control around Ash and his friends. Later, after a hard battle, they took back the mask and tin staff, and Golbat evolved into Crobat. Thinking of this, Ash and the others took back their Pokémon and followed the direction where Golbat flew. When they arrived, they saw a pretty lady with short red hair. Judging from her clothes, she was a Pokémon researcher and was debugging the machine. After introducing each other, they learned that the lady's name was Tiara. She was looking for the golden mask and tin staff hidden in the temple. The enthusiastic Xiaojang helped her repair the supersonic scanner. Golbat was attracted here because of this. Through the ancient text tablet she found, she discovered that the mask and tin staff that could control Pokémon were buried underground, and she wanted to uncover this secret. In response, Ash said, "As a Pokémon researcher, I naturally don't care about the research on ancient relics, but I don't want this power to be used by bad people. This kind of prop that does not rely on the bond between Pokémon and trainer should not exist in this world." Ash is right. Misty supports Ash's idea. Soon, with the help of Xiaojang and the disguised Rocket Trio, the machine was repaired. Things happened just as in the original book. With Golbat's investigation, Xiaojin and the others found the place where the mask was. "Please give me flowers." A golden mask and a red staff appeared quietly in front of everyone. The 2 props exuded a stream of power, as if they were captivating them to take it. Jessie couldn't help it any longer. She rushed up, put on the mask first, and then picked up the staff. She trembled and said, "Power. I feel unprecedented power." "It's bad," Misty exclaimed. "Why don't you pay your respects to Her Majesty the Queen?" She pointed the staff at Meowth. "Meowth, let's do a very funny dance first." Meowth didn't say anything and just started to dance. "Okay, Pikachu, use Thunderbolt on your master." However, Pikachu just flashed red light, and then Pikachu shook his head and said nothing happened. "What? You? How could you possibly get rid of my control?" She said in disbelief. "Because I have established a deep friendship with Pikachu, it is definitely not something that can be controlled by the prop solation in your hand." "That's right. As a trainer, you have to establish a spiritual connection with Pokémon, so that is the real bond. Xiaojing stood beside Ash with his Golbat Pikachu Thunderbolt. Golbat, destroy the Death Light. The lightning and orange light blew up the rocket trio, but because this is underground, they did not fly out. Ash picked up the two props. I have said long ago that such things are absolutely not allowed to be used. Miss Tiara, I'm sorry. After saying that, before Tiara could stop it in time, the mask and the tin staff were broken into pieces by Ash. Golbat also successfully evolved into Crobat. To be continued, I don't remember this part of the plot very clearly, so I can only write a rough outline. Don't be stingy with the things in your hands. Even if it is just a flower, it is a great support to the author. Chapter 97 White Town, Smeargle, GS Ball. Please subscribe. According to our current route, the White Town is ahead. White Town. Is it the town that is called the Designated Candidate Area for Historical Heritage? After coming out of the ruins, Ash and his team continued to move towards the direction of a Sagei city. It is worth mentioning that although Ash destroyed the mask and the tin staff, he collected the fragments and mailed them to Professor Oak. I believe that with his knowledge, he should be able to study something. After walking for a few days, they were about to reach the White Town mentioned earlier. After entering the town, I found that there was a reason why it was called White Town, because the buildings here are all made of white limestone, and they reveal a peaceful and artistic atmosphere, which makes people feel very comfortable after entering. 24. If you look from above, you will find that the panoramic view here is like walking out of a painting. Not only that, after entering, the buildings here have a different taste under the sunlight. After entering the town, the group was instantly attracted by the scenery here. Wow, it's so beautiful here, Misty exclaimed. It's worthy of being a designated candidate area for historical heritage. The scenery is really very unusual, Xiaojing said after looking at the travel brochure. Ash looked around. It was true that the landscape here was different from other places. But if I remember correctly, there was an artist living here, and there were also a dozen Smeargle. If possible, he wanted to make them understand some of the graffiti art of the future, so that the people in this town could accept it. So, Ash looked around, looking for traces of Smeargle. Ash, what are you looking for? Misty asked after seeing Ash's behavior. I'm looking for something interesting. Interesting things? Here. Ash happened to see 3 Smeargle painting on the wall, so he pointed to that place and said, Look, isn't this something interesting? What Pokemon is that? That's Smeargle, a painting Pokemon, whose characteristic is to use the paint on its tail to paint everywhere to promote itself. Ash introduced. Look at them. It seems like they are painting. Misty pointed at them and said. At this time, a group of people suddenly rushed out, ran towards them, and said to them, Catch them. Why are you arresting us? Your Smeargle has messed up everything here. Please make one thing clear. This is our first time here. Although I don't know what happened here. Please make sure before you speak. Okay? I'm sorry, my Smeargle has caused you trouble again. I will compensate you for the loss. At this time, an old man suddenly appeared between Ash and the people and apologized to the people. Later, it was introduced that this old man was Mr. Kasi Basquiat, who was an artist when he was young. As for these 3 Smeargle, they are his Pokemon. So, the old man hopes that they can also make a miraculous painting. Ash asked, Yes, this is my wish. In that case, why don't I help you? When Ash said this, everyone was shocked. Ash, are you sure you? Well, let me show you my hidden artistic cells. Sir, please lend me Smeargle. I promise you won't be disappointed. After talking it through, Ash brought the Smeargles to a wall. You like to paint on the wall, but the people here don't agree. If you want 783 to be recognized, you can't paint too messy. It must be colorful and not be filled in casually. Do you understand? After seeing the Smeargle nod, Ash taught them some graffiti concepts of later generations. Smeargle was good at sketch, and after being taught by Ash, he immediately understood. Then, the Smeargles began to create their first real work, which was based on their own prototypes. According to factions, maybe the abstract school has 10 more points. And this work was also unanimously recognized by the people of White Town. Basquiat praised it again and expressed his sincere gratitude to Ash. Later, Mr. Orberga's daughter came here and handed the GS ball back to Ash, saying that she had not studied anything and returned the GS ball to Ash according to the previous agreement. After doing another good thing, Ash and the others continued their journey. To be continued.
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.